Hello Internet, and welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 15. My name is Patrick. I am joined by... Kinda sucks, but we're down one, and I had all these good trio puns like I've been doing for the last couple episodes, but Seth and Steve, say hi everyone.
Hey guys.
Aren't we just a trio now? Like the three of us? The Holy Trinity?
Oh, I mean, maybe? But if we are, which of us would be the ghost?
Great question.
Steve, when I'm done with him.
Ooh.
Wow.
Is that a promise there, big fella? I went to a Catholic school growing up, so I think this is in that bad territory.
So you think you're a solid ghost material?
No, I'm daddy material, the father.
That is so much worse.
This is why we never give him the microphone.
True. Seth, let's just agree to disagree, and we'll just split the other two roles between us.
Yeah, sure.
Like you take Sun on weekends, I'll take Sun on like weekdays, and we'll just swap.
So we're having split custody on this, son.
Yeah. That was the joke. Yes.
Well, did it have to depend on if the clouds are out though?
Why?
Because he's
it's the
talking about
sun.
the other son.
The SUN.
Okay. Well,
Thoughts?
thanks for killing that. Steve. Anyway, yes, as I said before, we are down a Josh this week. Basically, a combination of a bunch of things, including Australia being underwater. If my media sources are to be correct, are you guys in fact broadcasting from the bottom of your local rivers?
No, footy's back, so it doesn't really matter anymore. Nothing else matters. Footy's back on. The Panthers back in force.
Footy is playing in the rain, tackling in the mud.
That's how God intended it to be played. But it's back, fellas. It's back. The Panthers once again will have another premiership. If you don't understand what that means, tune into the National Rugby League right now. The Panthers are playing Manly. This is now a sports podcast.
Yeah, welcome back to the sports podcast.
This man is choosing to watch football while recording with the boys.
I love that Steve's going for the overlap niche market of people that are really into rugby league in Australia and gamers.
You'd be surprised how much of an overlap that actually is.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that like everybody loves rugby league.
I don't.
Everybody loves video
Not in
games.
New Zealand.
Look at me, I'm the All Blacks. I play funny rugby.
New Zealand has like one team for rugby league because that's all they care enough to do.
It's true.
More than WA, but
It's
Wait,
true. WA wants to be its own country though.
Yeah, well, if they need a league team, let me know.
You're offering to play or coach?
Neither. I just want the fat paycheck at the end of the day. Hopefully Josh is back with us next week. We'll have to wait and see. Feel free to send in messages of support. Don't write it in paper. It will get washed away. But emails and texts appreciated. I guess I might as well just turn that into the plug now. You can reach us at Fast Travel Lounge on Twitter, minus one of the L's. Fast Travel Lounge on Facebook, and fasttravellounge@gmail.com. So for this week, chances are it's going to be a bit of a continuation of last week with pretty much the entire planet still playing Elden Ring. But notably, we have the Kirby demo out we're going to discuss. That'll be fun. Again, kind of a shame Josh isn't here because, he was so looking forward to that. Like the glint in his eye when he woke up and played the Kirby demo. Love to see it. But outside of that, we can continue the part 2s that we set up in episode 14. This will be a minor spoiler for people that haven't listened to episode 14. We're going to do some tech talk with the boys. We'll start with Seth. You set up that you had to do a crazy roundabout detour all over Australia tour to get to the Samsung guy down the road. Do you have an update for us?
I do not, because the guy hasn't rang me yet. I purposely put it off because ringing him because I wanted to say tune in next week for an update when I do ring him. But I have a Krispy Kreme story if that counts.
oh boy, that's what we're here for.
I'll be honest, I was looking more forward to the Krispy Kreme story than whatever the hell you were going to talk about with Mr. Samsung anyway, so I'm all for it. Let's go.
Okay, so everyone knows that Elden Ring's come out and is a massive hit. So my brother, instead of playing Elden Ring, wants to play the Dark Souls games. And there's a trilogy collection on PS4, which makes it very easy to get. So I went to EB Games to find out if they would ship from another store because we saw it was in stock, but in another store, nowhere close to here. They said, no, we can't because it's you can only order in it when it's from a factory. So dejected, I left. But there's a Krispy Kreme at the local supermarket where the
I
EV
love
Games
that was
is.
all preamble for why you wound up in a Krispy Kreme. Holy
Yes, it was.
shit.
It was. So
God, that is some masterful storytelling. Please, I need to know what happens next.
dejected and upset, I went to Krispy Kreme and ordered the $10 2 donuts and 1 milkshake. And because of Steve's
Sure.
story,
Oh.
Wait, because this is like the tie-in from episodes ago when Steve realized that you could do a milkshake deal.
yeah, exactly.
That's the
And-
same one.
Oh my God, extended Krispy Kreme universe confirmed. That's amazing.
But because of Steve's crimes against chalky milk, I decided against that and got a strawberry milkshake instead of a chocolate milkshake, which still good.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not going to sit here and listen to someone who prefers strawberry milk. Oh,
I don't.
that was a
but
Josh take of chocolate
I
milk.
don't prefer strawberry milk, but I was still feeling the side effects of your chalky milk and chocolate, the milk cereal discussion that I just couldn't stomach it that day, and I had to go with strawberry milk.
That's
Fair
the
enough,
most disgusting
fair enough.
story I've ever heard in my entire life. I should be embarrassed.
Well, I think, you know, if I'm gonna get like a what do you got, like Primo? You got Primo in Australia?
Like the ham?
The ham, yeah, the chocolate milk ham, yeah.
Oh no, like there's like a brand of like ham called Primo. Is that what you're talking about? Do you have like a ham chalky milk?
About
What the fuck is
chocolate
wrong with
milk
you?
brands. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh. Like a hammy milk? Is that what you're trying to get at? Is a hammy milk a soup or a cereal?
Stop this, please.
We need to stop Steve right now.
Sev, what's the general name brand chocolate milk you have in Australia?
Oak.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck that is. It sounds like a tree or someone who wants to give me a Gen 1 starter. No, so in New Zealand, if I'm going to go get chocolate milk, if I'm going to go get flavored milk, I'll go get chocolate milk. But there's got to be a special place in the clogged artery that is near my heart for some strawberry milk. Particularly if they're doing something fancy with it, I prefer strawberry milk because it's usually like a small amount. But if you're going for like, you know, you got like a large thing of chalky milk in the fridge to last you, you know, most people a week, me a couple days. Got to be chocolate, otherwise you just get sick on the strawberry. Thoughts?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. I'm also very partial to banana milk as well.
Okay, now that's just fucked.
Every day we stray further away from God.
No, banana just seems like, you know, if all the supermarket had left was banana milk, yeah, fine. But it just seems like a subpar choice compared to the goated flavors of strawberry and chocolate.
It is a subpar choice, but I still like it like once every year, basically.
I buy my milk when it's
okay.
like on special, so I get like 2 liters for $1.50.
But it always goes off the next day.
Who says it survives the next day?
True.
You ever seen a man
true.
drink 2 liters of chalky milk in 10 minutes?
Yes,
Vortex
I
it,
have.
vortex it.
Vortexy.
Shotgun a 2 liter bottle of chalky milk. How good?
All right, and it seems like we're back on the same page because I also happen to know the ways of the Vortexy. That I actually thought was a New Zealand thing. I had no idea you guys knew what that was in Australia.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it's
we've
pretty much the same culture.
we've had it here for quite a while.
Just like Pavlova, eh? You gotta see what New Zealand's doing and go, I'll have me some of that.
What do you mean? We made it first.
Give me some number 8 wire and a Vortexy.
Pavlova and Lamington's both Australian creations. What are you talking about?
You filthy thieves. You can have Lamingtons. I'm not going to contest that, but Pavlova's ours, mate. Pavlova with some kiwi fruit on it. You don't have Pavlova with Australia fruit, do you? Let's be real.
Isn't kiwi a bird?
Yeah, and a
It's
fruit.
it's a bird
very
that can't
versatile.
fly. It's a really bad bird.
All right, it's been 10 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm calling it on the off-topic chat. I'm so lost. Where are we?
Wait, no, okay. Well, let's just get back on topic then. So, Seth, the strawberry milkshake that you got, did that make you feel less sad and dejected?
It did, yes, and the donuts also helped. I got 2 glazed donuts because that is the best option from Krispy Kreme.
Yep, I believe
Agree,
that.
actually.
As long as you're not getting those blazed donuts, eh? What time was it?
I'm refusing to acknowledge him, Patrick. Let's move on to something else.
Well, unfortunately, the other thing we have to move on to is Steve's friend's cursed rice cooker. So it's not going to get any better for the next 5 minutes. Steve, what's the latest? Did your friend survive?
Yeah. I just got a priority message from them just before recording that they just had a big bowl of fried rice that was made from it. Molto bene.
Did the rice speak to them in the cursed language?
Not from any of the Snapchats that I got. It does make a big beeping noise when it's ready though, and that was wasn't sure if that was a whole bomb thing going off, so that was a bit spooky. But
Were there any sparks flying as it was plugged in?
no, it wasn't. and I heard they were very watchful of it. They even did like a test run of it just to make sure it heated up at the start. But it's all quiet, and the rice is good. The rice is hot. The rice is cooked, which is more important.
Oh, cooked. Well, that's important. Did you get Krispy Kreme afterwards?
Unfortunately, no. There was no Krispy Kreme near the rice cooker.
So you just felt sad and dejected eating fried rice.
Did you have any of Brock's patented Jellyfield donuts?
I should have. My frying pan became a drying pan after I finished frying up the rice.
Right. Well, now that we've closed the loop on part 2 for Steve's friend's cursed rice cooker.
Steve's friend.
Yeah, and we've got part 3 coming up from Seth. I guess that takes us straight to Around the Lounge. I think I've probably given away most of what will come up, but just in case, Seth, what have you been up to this week?
I played a lot of Elden Ring, and right before recording, I did some homework and played the Kirby demo.
that was the required reading for this week, so thank you for following through. Steve, what about you?
Still fighting the uphill battle of Dark Souls. Played a bit of Super Mega Baseball, and also played the Kirby demo.
Yeah, you alluded to that at the end of episode 14. Shout out to 14. Go back and listen to it if you haven't.
Great episode.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, one of
nothing
our
but bangers from us.
Yeah, you know, if I had $1 for every episode we've done, I'd have $14.
15
That's
now.
a lot of money.
16 if you include that spoiler cast.
True.
Keep demanding it. If everybody writes on our Facebook page, it'll get done. We're holding it hostage.
And you know what I can do with those $15? I can go to Krispy Kreme and buy a 2 donut milkshake combo for $10.
And you have $5 change. You're almost halfway to another one. We're done, boys.
I could buy 2 half donuts and half a milkshake.
We found a loop.
we have. Okay, so so I think Kirby is probably going to be the thing we discuss the most, and that's the thing we have the biggest overlap with. Shall we continue with your Dark Souls chat, Steve, and then Elden Ring from Seth, and then Super Mega Baseball, and then Kirby? Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, sounds fine.
I agree. I'll allow it.
You'll allow it? Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, so what have you been up to in Dark Souls?
So it turns out I've been playing a lot of Souls games wrong. You can't become a jack of all trades, and that's sort of for some reason why I try to do all my builds in.
Everyone does that their first time.
Yeah, but I finished Dark Souls 2, 3, and Bloodborne doing roughly the same sort of thing. And even though I read a bunch of guides and stuff, it never really clicked. But a good friend of the podcast, Tom, he sort of told me just to put all my points into strength, carry a big club, and just roll at things, and you'll be bonking out of the way. And that's essentially what I did. I even got to the point where Ornstein and Smorg, the terrors of my youth, which I could not get past before, I literally beat them in the first try.
Congratulations. You got good.
We're coming off the chat of you being unable to use Ironclad to Unga Bunga your way through Slay the Spire, yet here you are Unga Bungering your way through Dark Souls.
A different type of game.
It's great character development from you, Steve. You'll love to see it.
It's just, my heart was at probably 150 beats per minute during that fight. Health got a bit low, and I think I only had one Estus slice left, and I'm like, ooh, I'm nearly there. And then I did it. It wasn't as hard as I remembered. Didn't feel
I definitely appreciate things that go like that, where just you, some combination of being older, being wiser, being more efficient with your time, you just come back to something that just walled you as a kid, and you beat it without nearly as much effort as you were preparing yourself for. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was good, and even getting up to it, in Anor Londo, there's a bit of shitty parts, a bit of archers on rooftops that can sort of give you grief. And they didn't give me that much grief, but then a bit later on, I did lose about 80,000 souls just fucking around. But look, it is what it is.
Oh, did you put it into crypto?
Souls. Oh, that's going to the moon. It's not a loss if you don't take it out.
It's only a loss if you don't go back and retrieve it, right?
so there are these things called NFTs, right?
Yeah, no. We're staying out of that shit. Is 80,000 a lot in Dark Souls 1?
Yeah. Oh, from the part I was at, it was about 6 levels, which is.
Oh. Okay.
And I think it was I beat one boss, and then I got invaded, and then I beat another boss, and it was just sort of the way I was no, I'll just go and I'll do it at the next bonfire, and then I fucked up, and because I was 2 bonfires away, by the time I got there, I was fuck, and then I just got fucking I got hit and I was like close to an edge and I fell off the edge and I'm like, okay, I'm putting the game down. I'm gonna have
Need
a
to go
fucking
work
stroke.
off that anger.
I just nearly had a stroke. I just needed to shut the ice for a bit.
Yeah, fair. So where does that put you relative to beating Dark Souls 1 now then?
I think I'm past halfway. Like I've got to collect like 4 lords, and I think I'm just up to this. I beat the first one, the 4 kings, and I think I'm up to the second, which is like the Lord of Chaos or something like that. It's a big tree thing. It's weird. I got up to it and died once, and I was like, "Nah, I'll get it later." But I think I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Probably this time next week I'll be finished. I got
Wow.
good.
Can't wait to hear it. Seth, is there anything that you've played, not necessarily recently, but like anything that you've done where like you've come back to a game that walled you as a kid and you finally like kicked the boss's ass?
I feel like I have. It's just not coming to mind at the moment. I did mention last week that as a kid I had troubles with a boss because I couldn't button mash as a kid. That was for Prince of Persia 2008. And I ended up doing a replay of that game a couple of years later, and I was able to just get through it all on my own. So that's something, I guess.
Okay, you weren't a kid in 2008.
I was
You're
like
a teenager.
I was 14. That's a kid. Teenagers are still kids by my eyes.
I mean, he had the reading level of a 9-year-old, so I mean, you know,
It still
what
does.
counts as a kid, you know? It still does.
What's reading?
Yeah, true. So I have one, but it's real dumb. It's real dumb because it's Ratchet and Clank 3, and for whatever reason, there was a game that I really want. This is so cast your mind back to the glorious days of Blockbuster when you could like rent video games for a weekend. Is that ringing any bells?
Yep, I did that a lot when I was 14 as well.
Bring it back.
Yeah, so I did that quite a bit too. And so there was a game that I actually wanted to play, and I don't remember what it was. And I played Ratchet and Clank 2 and really liked it, and they had Ratchet and Clank 3. So it wasn't even my first choice, but I picked it up, and you could only hire it for the weekend. It was like a 2-day hire. And so I tried to get as far as I could in those 2 days. And I got to it's the planet with the sewers and the large green monsters.
Yep, I
Uzi,
remember that.
I'm pretty sure that's Ratchet and Clank 2. But for whatever reason, I still can't figure out what it was. The large green thing in the sewer, all you have to do is just run like towards the camera, just run away from it. I couldn't do it, and it would just kill me every time. And I swore it was like glitched or something because I was just incapable of doing it. So it gave me great pleasure, confusingly, when I went back and played the Ratchet and Clank collection on Vita, and I was able to just do it and not even take notice of it, because it's not a boss. You're actually just supposed to run away from it. But I for whatever reason, I just couldn't do it when I rented it all those years ago. So that's my my contribution to the topic.
I just remembered one thanks to that, and it's in Crash Bandicoot 3, I could not beat the engine boss fights. That was just very hard for me as a kid, and now I can do that flawlessly.
Did you just make the price of gas go through the roof and then it just starved and died?
No, it's more I just
I get it.
I just learned how to play a shooter.
Thanks, Steve. Oh, yeah, fair enough.
You just learn how to play. That's it. I'll do it.
No, it's cool. So, yeah, any, I don't know, has your opinion changed on Dark Souls 1, having played more of it now, or you're still just going through it?
It's still great. I still love it. I'd still recommend it. Like, I got the
Yeah.
remastered one. I think I got it for like $15-17. It's probably even cheaper now. Like, if you haven't if you have gotten into Elden Ring and you're looking at getting into any of the Dark Souls games,
And you want an objectively worse experience.
I don't know. Depends who you talk to, I guess. It's a
true.
shorter experience at the very least, or like one of the first experiences. So I'd highly recommend.
Go back to where it all began.
Demon Souls, yes.
Not as to the good one where it all began.
Demon Souls, yes.
Right, well,
Steve's thinking about it.
yeah. Well, I mean, annoyingly, we don't have Josh to break the tie, and I refuse to get involved. So, thank you for that, Steve. We look forward to hearing more about your Dark Souls 1 adventures next week. But in the meantime, I guess we get to move on to rated E for everyone Elden Ring. Seth, what have you been up to in the week since?
Yeah, I'm at about 45 hours now in that game, and I've done a lot more since then. I think last time I had beaten the first Lord, and I was on my way to the second. not lords, shard bearers. I've beaten the second and third shard bearers now, and I'm a good chunk of the way through a very meaty side quest. Not going into spoilers too much. I'm getting pretty deep into that game now. I think I'm probably at about the halfway point though.
So I guess we could probably do a brief summation. So 45 hours in, give us your class, your approximate level, your favorite weapon or the weapon that you're currently using, and the next thing on your to-do list.
So right now, so I started off as a bandit, which was a dex and arcane class. I've left arcane about where it is, upgraded a little bit, but I've pumped up my endurance, my strength, my vigor, and my dexterity, so I can use some of the weapons that I want to use while having some health and stamina to back that up. At the moment, I'm using the I think it's called the Blade Hound sword or something. It's a very big curved greatsword that it's the Ash of War is that you'll do a swing forward and do a backflip so that you do a big swing and then evade.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's been a very useful move to have. But my actual favorite weapons to use are the claws, the dual wielding claws, because they do very quick damage and they quickly build up blood damage, so things just explode when you're using that. And on my list at the moment is I'm actually like near the end of that side quest that I just mentioned. I just went into this new area that's looks pretty terrifying because it's full of scarlet rot. So yes.
And what is scarlet rot?
It's
for the same friend that wanted the rice cooker.
It's kind of the same thing as like the poison or the insanity sort of build-ups, but as far as I can tell, scarlet rot when it builds up is just a one-shot kill.
Jesus. Oh, so it's sort of like Curse then. Or Curse in Dark Souls 1, I guess.
Yeah, I'd guess so.
Just out of curiosity, did your friend's fried rice taste anything like what scarlet rot's been described as? Because that might be a reason to put it back outside. I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying maybe consider it.
No, don't think so.
Good. Fair enough.
It's safe.
For now.
For now, yeah. Maybe there's poison build-up we don't know about yet.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah,
that's cool.
I actually also want to say that I think last week I said I'd give it about an 8.5, but the third boss was like such a high caliber for me, and there's some really cool stuff about it. I'm going to actually go and bump that up to a 9 now.
Hey.
So
Super cool
I'm
boss versus shitty horse combat. There we go. We got to see the real winner. Yeah, boy.
Give me some really cool things to get excited about, and I will bump that score up.
and I will not worry about the fact that the horse doesn't work.
The horse works. It's just kind of meh.
So I played Confessor, which is a mix of something in Faith. I actually don't know what the other primary would be.
Was it Intelligence?
No, it definitely wasn't Intelligence. I'm dumb as a brick. And it's not much better in Elden Ring either. Might have been Strength?
Maybe going for like Intelligence melee weapons.
No, Faith melee.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, Faith. Yes.
Yeah. It was big fighter boy, but also gotta have faith.
He was a fighter boy. He said, "See you later, boy."
His dex wasn't high enough for her. I'm actually quite proud of that. Thanks. I've been using a Morningstar as my weapon of choice for most of the game.
But nice.
I finally had enough faith that I was able to be able to equip and use the Winged Scythe, which I've absolutely fallen in love with. So much so that I'm now used to the spacing of the scythe, which meant that when I swapped back to the Morningstar briefly, I couldn't hit shit. I was just missing it was just catching
you were
air
just a
all over
slight
the place.
step like too far away.
Yeah, it really was. It was awful. But I am level 52-ish, and I'm at about 36 hours in, 36, 37 hours in.
Yeah, you caught up in time very quickly to me.
Please don't put that out publicly.
You're just really
I do
good
hold
at the
down a
game.
full-time job.
You just did really good.
Time moves faster in New Zealand. We're 2 hours ahead. All right, don't worry about it. What was the thing that I did most recently? I went through a spoopy boopy haunted house. That was really cool. Really liked that actually.
Yeah, I really like that area as well. Lots of hands to catch.
Yeah, true. And next thing up on my list is like, it's actually trying to find the second Lord. I think because I've explored what I think is the extent of the map that I have unlocked. Not that I've found everything in there, but in terms of I just haven't found any new areas in a long time. I've just been scouring what I've already found, and some combination of finding a new area / finding where I've just missed the second Lord, and fighting a couple dragons is on my list of things to do. But yeah, really fun. I don't think I'd adjust my score. I think I gave it a 9.5. It's still a very, very good game. I think what I will change from what I said last week is that I think last week I said that I wasn't super enamored with the gameplay loop compared to something like Monster Hunter. I think I've fallen a little bit more in love with that now, and I think that's more on the back of it opening up a little bit more and having enough points that I can more freely swap weapons, even though I haven't. Or I think especially being able to swap into more of the like magic-y type stuff that I don't typically go for in third-person action adventures like this. I don't typically pick the ranged option, but here it's been cool. It's just playing slightly differently. So I think it's definitely sucked me in a bit more than last week, but I'm okay with that.
It might also just come down to now that you're able to use that scythe and found a weapon you really like, it's just clicking a bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely a part of it. And, we'll say, horse combat with a scythe, much better than horse combat with a Morning Star.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'll tell you what.
I've been... I've got a longsword now. Horse combat with a longsword is much better than it is with a rapier.
Can you use the greatsword from the horse?
Yeah.
Is it one-handed? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, they just... Well, mine isn't like a big greatsword. Mine's just like a very long, big sword. But yeah, it's just swings it one-handed.
Because, I mean, I've also been using the scythe one-handed because I quite like having a shield on the other hand. But, I mean, it's a scythe. People do wield them one-handed. They're not big, heavy weapons, but some giant, heavy greatsword, I imagine, would be a lot harder to use single-handed.
That also does remind me that I've got this very big hammer that I am not going to use for a long time because it's got, like, 45 strength, I think it needed to be used.
Jesus.
It's like the Monster Hunter, like the Iron Hammer, which is just like 20 irons strapped to a stick.
Yeah, basically. And
Isn't it the Berserk sword?
The Berserk sword is in this game as well, yes.
Yeah, I've seen all the pictures for it. It looks fucking sick.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the strength is for that.
Probably 1 million.
It does have a description though that says that to wield it you need like inhuman strength, which is a pretty good call to Berserk.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What about tarnished strength?
Maidens?
No, maidenless.
If you have too many maidens, they distract you and you're no longer able to lift it.
Oh, is that how it works?
That's what I've been told.
That went on just long enough for me to be able to tell you that it requires 31 strength.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, that's
cool.
That's a fair amount.
Yeah, I'm not that far off it if I just wanted to spec into strength because I'm at about 25 strength now. So yeah. 6 more levels into strength would be able to wield it.
Sweet. Any other things you want to add to Elden Ring?
No, I'm pretty okay with that. Like, yeah, I've seen a bunch of cool things now, and the horse combat still is kind of a bummer to me, but everything else in the game is like immaculate, and they've done such a good job with their first open world game that it's insane how well they've done. I'm also laughing at all the Western game developers getting absolutely angry with this game for some reason.
Yeah, all the Horizons.
It's like the Horizon devs. It's like a curse of the popularity thing.
Yeah.
Well, it does. Well, from my understanding, it does something different. Like, it isn't like, go to this area, climb a tower, unlock more of the map, collect bullshit collectibles for no reason. Like, fun combat. Like, it seems to pushes the genre a bit. Like, it's not an open world for the sake of an open world. Like, it's incorporated that into the game.
I saw a Ubisoft developer complaining that you have to go into the equipment menu to change your equipment rather than going in your inventory.
What?
It's a very weird complaint.
If Ubisoft is complaining about it, then you're on the right track. Like, just leave it at that.
Man, I
They
had
still
no
making
idea
games?
that Elden Ring was actually such a shit game because of that menu overlap. Damn.
Yeah, I know. Who wants a menu that filters out all the useless junk when you want to equip equipment?
Where are all the collectibles that I found from climbing to the top of the fucking towers, though? Do you remember what some of the tweets were from the Horizon devs, just to give our lovely listeners some context?
I don't, but a lot of it was complaining about quest design and UX design, which, to be that person, UX is for user experience, not user interface. The UI complaints people are mentioning is part of user experience, but most of the complaints are about, like, trying to make the game readable to people and like a good time for people. So like maybe having quest logs and stuff is what they're getting at, but that seems to be the point.
That's a very big cop out.
Yeah,
like it's almost like as if you read the dialogue and actually sort of keep track of what's going on in the game yourself without being led along.
Yeah, not having your screen covered with so many compasses and stuff that like, oh, go here, go climb this. It's just it's so open and like
you don't have 20 million icons saying, oh, you got to collect this collectible. It's like, oh, do I?
Yeah, no, it's a very well made game.
I feel like there is a valid middle ground there, though, in that I've talked to a lot of NPCs. You could ask me, have you spoken to this NPC? I wouldn't have a clue. I'd just 50-50 it. Probably no, given how much I've played the game and how big it is. But I think having a log, at least, of NPCs you've talked to, or the last thing that a particular NPC has said to you, would be helpful. Because the number of times where it's like, you know, sitting in Discord with the boys, playing a bit of Elden Ring, and it's like, oh, have you not spoken to that person? Like, yeah, I have. Why? Like, oh, they should be standing right in front of you, like, right now. Like, oh, but they're not, because I haven't done some collect 17 mushrooms and deliver the sacred key of Raz Al Ghul, to get them to move location slightly.
Yeah, there is a point to that, but I also think, like, as you interact with the characters more and more, you just become familiar with them. Like, at the beginning of the game, I wouldn't be able to tell you some of the character names, but now I'm like, I really like Roger, I really like D.
Don't know who that is.
I like Thea a lot.
I think he means D's nuts.
Rennie
probably does.
Rennie is a really good character.
Rennie
so
balls.
like you're right in that having a journal of who all these NPCs are would be really good to keep track of things. But at the same time, as you keep playing, you just kind of become accustomed to who these characters are and start learning more about them, and like they just take up space in your memory now. And you know what their deal is.
The only NPC I like is EG. EG's my boy.
EG is very good. And see, you know his name. You know what he looks like.
Yeah, but that's it. You know how many NPCs there are? Like, EG's only... Like, EG is very distinctive, all right? I'll put it that way.
Yes. EG is very distinctive.
I could pick EG out of a crowd. I can't say that about all of them.
There he is, 20 feet away.
It's cool. I'm sure this is gonna be a revolving thing because I don't plan on. I haven't been rushing Elden Ring by any means. I think I'm starting to fall slightly behind in terms of playtime and what other people have done for that playtime. But
yeah,
I feel like we're going to be getting fairly regular updates every week on what
I
we've been
want
up to.
try and be done by next recording because
Whoa.
Another game is coming out next Friday that I'm very interested in.
I mean, one of our mutual friends beat it on a playtime of 81 hours. You just want to just casually put the 36 hours between now and next recording in to just clock the game out.
Hey Patrick, do you want to edit this podcast while I play all weekend?
You can do two things at the same time, can't you? How hard can it be to edit the podcast? Just release it unedited, the raw version.
The real boss fighting Adobe. Wait, is it Adobe Audition?
Yeah.
The joke would have gone so much better if I had that figured out beforehand.
Better luck next time.
Yeah, thanks. I'll just respawn at the Grace and try again.
Touch Grace.
No, thank you for that, Seth. I think we'll probably end up concluding the chat here. As I say, I'm sure we will hear more about it soon enough, and whether you end up finishing it by next week, which...
God, I hope so.
You could. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Flicking it back to you, Steve, you've been playing some baseball.
Yeah, baseball, Super Mega Baseball 3. Don't know why I said it in that voice. That was pretty weird.
I'm so sorry to anyone listening that was offended by that.
Yeah. Oh,
Tell me about baseball, Steve.
So how familiar are you guys with baseball?
I have a basic knowledge of baseball.
I get it, basic, because there's 3 bases. Good one.
You trying to make a bit out of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very little. I think at one stage I actually knew a decent amount of it, but I just, like, baseball is like a non-existent sport in New Zealand, so just don't have the exposure, really.
Yeah, pretty much the same in Australia as well.
Yeah, we have softball instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly, we do too.
I think it's just a low energy baseball you have to worry about. Anyway, so this is Super Mega Baseball 3 came out on Game Pass like last week, maybe the week before, and I'm a really big fan of the Super Mega Baseball series. Like it's very funny, very comedic, doesn't take itself seriously. It's a non-simulation sports game, so you always sort of know that you're in it for a fun time, not because you love the game type of thing. It's got a bunch of, I think it's got like 12 or 13 or so teams, and some of them are pretty funny. Like there's the Hot Corners, which is like a corn on fire team. There's the Herbivores, which is like an angry Stegosaurus. There's the Beewolves, which is a sick sounding team. And there's also Nemesis, which is like an eagle. It's all pretty sick.
I assume there's human players though, right? Like you're not actually playing baseball with Stegosaurus.
No. So
I'd buy that game right now, like while recording, if that were the case.
Oh, I wish. But they do have. So it is like human-based players, but they like have exaggerated features. Like one guy might have like a chest that's like very big, and then you might have like a little girl on your team, or it's sort of.
Oh, I see. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's one of those games, eh? Like it doesn't really care about more of the physique of the humans. It's the fact that there are humans there, and it's like sort of mixed gender, which makes it like a bit like maybe refreshing is not the right word, but it's the only word that's coming.
Makes it like what, Steve?
Makes it more equal, right?
Let me just whip out this grenade real quick and toss it to
you. But it's good. You've got like a very diverse sort of cast as well, and I'm not really sure how because there is a character creator, and you can go in and create your own characters and your own team, and even your own team emblems and team names, which is pretty cool. And I haven't really dove into that yet, and I honestly probably won't. But there's a lot of
this sounds like I swear this isn't going to be a long tangent, but one of my favorite PC games back when I was a kid was called Backyard Soccer. And they actually did a game called Backyard Baseball, which I played the demo of because I was poor and I didn't have the full game of it. But Backyard Soccer sounds kind of like it, with like mixed gender teams. Doesn't take itself too seriously, kind of cartoony, blown up features. But it was real it was real fun to play as a kid, because it was all like bright lights and colorful, and it had just like a banging sound. Like every character had their own theme music. It actually sounds like Super Mega Baseball might kind of be touching on similar sort of points.
Yeah, it sort of sounds sort of similar. Probably not without the theme music or anything, but like there are announcers that sort of call out the names, and you've got like names like Beefcake Nacho or Chug Burgundy, or it's really. I'm not really sure if those are random generated names, because those are just the names that I've sort of found in my like sort of playthrough. But I'm not really sure if they're random generated.
That's just what the game generated when I told them about my physique.
Yeah, you send a picture of yourself in, and that's what they give you, right? But yeah, like it's
someone's email address.
And essentially, it's just literally the ball goes down, you hit the ball, or you don't hit the ball. Like it's pretty simple. There is sort of a diversity in like sort of how you throw the ball. You've got like curved balls and fast balls and seam balls and et cetera, et cetera. And if you don't hit the ball sort of like within sort of a range, it's not going to go anywhere.
Can you do the old wipe some of the wax off your hair and shine the ball on one side for more spin?
No, you can't. Well, not that I found yet. Maybe there's like a mega cheat mode that you can use for that.
Look for the setting called ball tampering. Probably under there.
Yeah, but it's just fun. It's mindless fun. Like I'll probably play 2 or 3 sort of games, and then I'll be like, okay, cool. Like I'm done. Like I don't feel like I need to play anymore. Like it's
How long does a game go?
So it depends. So it can take, depending on like how good you are at getting the other. So So baseball games like 9 innings. So it's essentially you have like 1 inning is someone like a pitcher throwing to get the other team out, or 3 players from the other team out.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be really easy. That can be like 3 minutes if you just 3 strikes and you're out, and you do that 3 times, and that's it. That can be a couple minutes. Other times, if you're getting a bunch of hits in and you're loading the bases up, or you're getting a lot of foul balls because you can't go out on a foul ball. It counts as an out, but you can't like be out on a foul ball.
What, you can't take the walk?
So you can take a walk, but that's only on 4 balls, if that makes
Yeah,
4 ball errors as opposed to 4 hitting errors, if that makes sense.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm probably doing an absolute fucking shit job of explaining it.
I like how I started this with me saying I know nothing about baseball, and I'm just whipping out the old baseball.
Yeah, no, you're doing good. Yeah.
All coming back to me. Totally not just reading off Google on another screen.
Hey, look, it's long as
Hey,
it's
I
good
believe
content,
ya.
right? Yeah.
My friend is doing the reading for me.
Yeah.
Yes, your friend.
Same with the rice. Yeah, same on the rice cooker, right?
Yeah, of course.
Your friend that actually knows everything about baseball.
Yeah. Datrick is a massive baseball fan. Zeph, you're about to say something like 5 minutes ago, and I cut you off. What were you gonna ask?
Oh no, I was just going to mention that like I'm also a very big fan of like these more arcadey sports games rather than the sim ones. Because like Steve says, they're just a lot of fun to play. They're less serious. They're less like try to get everything as accurate as possible. You can just go nuts with them.
Yeah, and it does have like so their version of difficulty is called like an ego meter, and it goes from like literally 1, which is like they'll literally just throw it down the middle, and as long as you sort of press the button within a 5-second window, you'll hit it, to like 99 ego, which is like, yeah, good luck. It's hitting the speed of sound. If you don't time it exactly right, you're not touching that ball. What do you mean? I played the first 2 Super Mega Baseballs. I'm going to set it up to 50, and I got flogged like 12 runs to 0, which is like pretty big difference in baseball. I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn this down. So I turned it down to like 35. Then I got flogged I didn't get flogged, but it was like 5-3. And then I turned it down to 30, and then I was up by 6. So it's sort of like a fine tuning thing. Like every point sort of does make the
scaling
AI
doesn't work quite like how you think it might.
No, it doesn't. I thought it was like every 10 levels would sort of be a different tier sort of thing, but it isn't. It sort of changes the AI in weird ways that I don't really understand. But it is sort of fun, and they've had the ego meter since like the first one that I've played, and I always remembered like I started off at like 20. And I eventually finished Super Mega Baseball 1 at like 70 ego. So then I think I'm like, oh yeah, I played these games before. I can start at 70 ego, but because like I'm not really used to the correct timing, it sort of fucks me up.
I got to give props to the developers. If I was making a baseball game and I called the first one in the series Super Mega Baseball, like if you came to me and was like, yeah, first game in the series is baseball, second game is Super Baseball, third game is Super Mega Baseball, like, oh yeah, that stacks. But to just out of the gate Super Mega Baseball and then Super Mega Baseball 2, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic naming. I really like it. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like, if you haven't played any of them before, and if you're not a baseball fan, I'm not sure if I'd recommend it. It goes on sale fairly frequently. Well, at least number 1, number 2, number 3 only came out last year. And I honestly, even with the other ones, I've always bought on special, so I've never paid more than like $10 for these, but they're good. I'd pay $10 for this one. It's on Game Pass, so if you got Game Pass, living the dream.
It's free, I hear.
Yeah, as always, living the dream. Us ex-pros, right? Cannot stop losing.
Yeah, that state of play put you all in that loser seat today.
You want to try that one again, Steve, or was that intentional?
Yes, it was intentional.
Okay, cool. Just checking. So ordinarily, if someone does not have Game Pass, where could they get it and for how much?
I think it's around, at full price, it's about the $45, $50 mark. So not quite the AAA budget, but it's still sort of...
It's a little over your anime budget.
Yeah, but the anime budget's when the game's on special as well. So it's just...
True, it's true.
If it's not on special, it's not worth it. But I'm pretty sure it's on everything. Except
what if it has 2 animes?
That's a great question. They cancel each other out and it's free.
Yeah. I wouldn't pay more than free for this.
Yeah. So it's like Goku
in
versus
fact,
Naruto.
they have to pay me.
Then that's 3 animes. It goes down by $35.
Yeah.
So if you get like a big
It's got to be
What was
that
that-
Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm collection.
Yeah, what was that J-Star victory?
Yeah, J-Star Victory Versus and Jump Force.
Yeah, and Jump Force. Yeah, the Jump Force one I'm thinking of. Yeah, man, I made good bank off those. Funded my podcast addiction.
And now here we are. Any other thoughts, or do you want to give it a rating out of 10?
I always struggle. I was thinking about it before. I'm struggling to rate it because I'll probably play like another couple of hours or finish the league that I'm in, and then I'll sort of be done with it type of thing. Like I'm having a good time, but I wouldn't recommend it full price.
So it's kind of like a one-shot type deal.
Yeah. And every now and then I'll sort of think about it, like, oh yeah, that's sort of fun, but I'll never really jump back into it. So realistically, it's a 6. But it feels like I'm not doing it justice. Like it is a great game.
So it'd be like, that makes sense. So it's like a 6 ordinarily, but for a one shot, and you can pick it up on sale, it'd be an 8, right?
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, like realistically, like if you paid full price for this game and you sort of got sick of it and you're forcing yourself to play it, and the gameplay loop is you hit the ball and that's sort of it, and there's no real depth to it either. So on that notion, it probably would be a 6, but I'm still having fun. On the fun factor, it's definitely an 8 or a 9.
Sick. Well, if you are a baseball fan, go and check it out. And as has been alluded to, if you're on Game Pass, you're already halfway there. But thank you for that, Steve. Next up on the list, one that I think we can all contribute to, the Kirby Forgotten Land.
Yeah.
Forgotten Land?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Cool.
You've forgotten the name, eh?
Yeah.
Patrick in the Forgotten Name.
Off to a great start.
I think that's an indication of how he feels about the game.
Well, no, it's because it's like I keep mixing it up with Horizon, Forbidden West or whatever.
Yep.
I keep swapping them in my head. I'm pretty sure when I listened to one of our earlier episodes, I called it Kirby Forbidden Land.
You may have.
Which, I mean, like, sick title, Nintendo, you're welcome. But I always have to double check just because I don't trust myself anymore.
That's the sequel to it. Wow.
They've already got the sequel in the works. The sequel to Breath of the Wild is just Breath of the Wild 2, The Forbidden Forgotten Land.
That wasn't good. That was too long. Sorry, man.
That's okay. Josh would have loved it that. If we have all played it, first of all, it's a demo, so therefore it is free. It's on Nintendo Switch only, so I guess you have to pay an upfront cost of Nintendo Switch if you don't have one already. But all up, the demo features 3 stages. What I think are actually the first 2 at least feel like the first 2 stages of the game.
Yeah, and then I'd say the third one is like a midway boss. Because that felt way too easy to be an actual boss fight for the first world.
Surely that's just like the first level, not the first like. Surely that's not 3 stages. Surely that's just the first one.
No, I think that's just 3 stages broken up.
Oh, how many stages will there be though? Like
probably a lot. I'd probably put it at about 50 levels, maybe 60.
Okay.
I have some thoughts. And as I say, it's kind of a shame Josh isn't here because I think we'd actually get some good discussion going because, as he says, every episode, this is one of the games he's looking forward to the most this year. And I don't think that's an understatement.
Yeah, he was definitely positive after playing the demo as well. Like, he was very excited when the demo was dropped. He played it and he's really excited for this game to come out. I believe he already has it pre-ordered as well.
Yeah, he did pre-order it.
Wasn't. I don't know. Because I haven't played what other Kirby games have I played? I've played Nightmare and Dreamland way too much back on the GBA, and then I played one in the middle, but I don't remember what the platform was because it wasn't mine. I just played it at someone else's house, and then I played Star Allies when that was on Switch, which I don't even remember if that was a new title or if that was a ported one.
No, that was a new title.
But that came out multiple years ago now.
Yeah, that was like a launch game.
Yeah, it was, and I actually had a lot of fun with it, even though it was like built for kids. Like
every Kirby
felt
game
like it was built for. Yeah, I know, but like this one was just like I could almost play one-handed.
Yeah,
like,
and
where's the other hand?
Spoiler alert! I kind of feel that way about this one too.
Yeah, I feel the same.
But
I played the DS one, and I think I might have played the GBA one as well, where I borrowed it from a friend and I played it for a bit, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And it does sort of feel very. I'm not sure if kiddie's the right word, but it does feel very simple. Simple is the word I'd use, actually. Simple.
Yeah, and you know, it's like as games go, I'm not saying that I want it to be a challenge. It's a fucking Kirby game. I know what
Yeah,
I'm
no,
signing
yeah,
up
100%,
for.
yeah.
But there's a fine line between simple and brain dead, and I feel like this is skirting more towards the brain dead side. At least based on
Yeah.
these levels.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
could
At
based
least
on the-
based on these levels. So
Yeah.
so why don't we get into that? So so overall impressions, Seth, it sounds like yours was mostly positive.
Yeah, I think the game plays really well. I like the powers. I like so getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. When you finish the demo the first time round, they unlock the upgraded abilities for all the abilities that are in the game at the moment, like the demo at the moment, and the upgraded versions are a lot of fun as well. So like, just it controls well and it plays well. It's just the levels are a bit these levels they use to showcase the demo are a bit plain.
But maybe that's because they are, because I'm in the same boat. I didn't even know that it had the upgraded weapons if you go back. And that probably just sort of speaks to how it captured me. It does feel very...
Once that trailer at the end of the demo finishes, it just straight up tells you, oh, we unlocked the upgraded versions of them, so replay the levels and you can play with upgraded abilities.
I thought I wasn't reading it. I sort of finished it. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Reading is hard.
Yeah, it is. Some of us can't read.
What's reading?
That's why I prefer dubs to subs, my dudes. If I wanted to read, I'd pick up a book.
Is it bad that I first thought you meant dubs like W's? That's why I prefer W's to subs. Like, what a fucking weird thing to say.
I do like
no wonder
W's.
you can't read for shit.
Stephen, may I introduce you to the wide world of visual novels?
That's close enough. It's like in between.
It's like the going theory that the Trump president's library is just going to be coloring books and comic books.
It's just all like weird manga.
Yeah, just fucking random tangent. But yeah, so Steve, you were telling us about your impressions of it.
Yeah, it definitely does feel it's very first level type of stuff. I fucking hate how it's like an isekai. I hate how he gets I hate how everything is a fucking isekai. These days, like Pokemon is one. This is one. Probably something else is one.
To be fair, I'd say time travel isn't an isekai.
So
someone should probably explain isekai. I know what it is, but I need you guys to explain it to me to make sure that you know what it is.
Isekai in a basic essence is being traveled to another world, and people these days argue like how much of a definition that is. Like, is space travel an isekai? Is time travel an isekai? I think I put it as like going to an alternate dimension or an alternate universe. Like, that's radically different from what your normal is. So like a lot of anime ones are like you get transported from like current society to like a medieval JRPG setting sort of thing.
Is Sword Art Online an isekai? Let's just leave that there. If listeners,
let's just let that question sit.
If you think Sword Art Online is an isekai, write in. I have very strong thoughts on what it is.
I have thoughts on that too.
Yeah. If you write in,
anyway,
we will read the correct answers out.
If you write in, that can be the viewer question.
Oh no. But no, it was just to give context. Like, I actually do know what isekai is, but I'm imagining a few people listening probably won't. So yeah, it's just for context. So now when we mention isekai and why we're mentioning isekai is like relative to Kirby, that's why. So continue, Steve. Sorry, I derailed you so many times.
No. It's good. It's good, very good context. Thanks for bringing it up. But then at the same time, maybe the story and the setting doesn't count. Like, it's so the premise is that you're Kirby and you're sort of walking around eating 20 house story cakes or whatever phrase of words, and you sort of get sucked into another dimension, and it's like, oh look, where am I? And oh look, all the Waddle Dees, like these little creatures that are in the Kirby universe, are being taken prisoner by these falcons, and you got to go and save them and all that type of thing. It was very simple. I'm not sure what I was expecting, because even the few combat encounters you get, it's quite easy just to sort of breeze past them in like 2 hits and not even take any damage. The couple of bosses that you fight, they're like 3-second jobs. And once you figure the mechanic, it's not even figuring the mechanic out. Like, it's the mechanic's obvious on what it's going to be.
Yeah, like one of them has a big shield in front, so it's like, oh, hit him from the back then.
Yeah. Or there's that big turtle, and it's like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to keep walking around, and while it reaches its neck out, I'm supposed to be behind something else? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to mention on like the taking damage thing, I found it a little annoying because there'd be moments where I do a combo or like an aerial attack and I killed an enemy, but as it's reeling backwards, it just procs a hit on me as well because I got too close as it's reeling backwards to die, and I thought that was a bit annoying.
Yeah, that tripped me up a lot, and that was one of the issues I had with the demo.
Yeah. It was... Did you guys get any graphical hiccups? Because it definitely had the Legends Arceus problem where if something was like too far into the distance, it'd be running at like 5 frames a second.
Yeah, that's just a general thing of making sure that the game keeps a stable frame rate. So
it was just, I don't know.
Is it the Switch
weird
that can't concession. Run? Yeah, it's just that the Switch isn't powerful enough to render things far away at a full frame rate. So yeah,
it's embarrassing. Like I thought.
A lot of games have done that, not just on Switch, but on other things as well.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing it in the Wii and even the Wii U days. I just didn't think I'd be seeing it now. But I swear
it's just like very pronounced as well now because they're not even like very far range, they're like mid range.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Because the further range you sort of get out, the less you sort of notice it type of thing because it's not in the foreground. But these were not even that far.
Yeah, these are like the size of a 50-cent coin on screen.
Yeah, like it's a 10-second walk forward to get there. Like it's not even quite in the background. And I find that quite jarring. But like the environments do look very pretty. I'll give them that.
Yeah, no, it's actually a very nice game, and the CG cutscenes are very nice as well. Like those are rendered very nicely.
Did you guys have no music during those cutscenes?
I had music. My complaint for those is that there's no sound effects.
No, that was it then. There was no sound effects. Yep, that's it.
But I think there's going to be sound effects in the final game because the trailer they show at the end shows some of those cutscenes and you hear like Kirby making Poyo noises and other things. So I think it was just this demo doesn't have them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, good. Yeah, because I wasn't sure if I was... It was just the music it had and I'm like, okay, there's no sound effects used. I didn't know if it was common for a
At first it was cute, but then you get further into it and it's like, okay, it's a little weird that like there's no sound effects.
Yeah, more and more is happening. And you're like, okay, I'm sick of this now. Yeah, okay, good. It wasn't just me. What did you think about it, Pat?
Oh, yeah, I think. Thanks for asking, Steve. I think part of it is an expectation issue on my end. I thought this is going to be an open world Kirby rather than a 3D Kirby, and there's a bit of a difference to what I was expecting as a result.
I'm not sure why you felt that way because I was expecting a Mario 3D world when I saw this, and that's basically what we're getting, Kirby Mario 3D world.
Well, did you think it was open world because of like in the first trailer we saw Kirby sucked in a car and he became a car? Because that was my impression and my takeaway. Like that would be the traveling points.
Kind of, yeah. And I think part of it was also because there were other open world advertised games at the same time. Like Arceus was advertised as open world, Elden Ring was advertised as open world, and I think I was just sort of in the mindset of these large games are open world by nature, and so it was just sort of like this isn't how I thought it would go at all. So that's no complaint of the game. That was just a difference in expectation to what I had of it. What I did have issues with though is that a lot of the loop, shall we say, of like a lot of the gameplay loop that I really enjoyed in say Star Allies, just because that's the only recent point of reference I have, is that I really enjoyed being able to like just sprint full force just through a level and then almost like Sonic it. And just hit something that you need to like adjust to or like change to, and this doesn't have that.
Kirby moves at a very brisk pace in this, and I was hoping there was a sprint, but there wasn't. Like I tried double tapping the stick to make him run faster, and that didn't work. And there's no sprint button.
Yeah,
it definitely did feel like he was like moving at not 0.5 speed, but he was just a little bit slower than what you'd want.
Yeah, and there's a dodge roll in the game, which I feel could have been turned into a sprint.
Yeah. I never found a reason to use it in these levels. Maybe you sort of do get it.
Maybe later.
Yeah, it's like Y, I think.
You hold the triggers and move the stick.
Oh,
the
yeah,
triggers?
I never bothered trying that.
Yeah, because the triggers are for your so if you have if you turn off automatic absorption, when you suck in an enemy, you got to press the triggers to absorb the enemies, or you can spit them out with the other button. But
Okay.
I was looking for that. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad that's a setting because that also annoyed me. Where that felt brain dead to me.
yeah, no,
in
that's
terms
a
of
setting you
control.
can turn on and off. So I did that right away.
Thank you. Okay, I didn't even look through the settings menu. That again, my bad. But yeah, thank you for that because that was also a negative I had.
Yeah, because I went into the settings menu right away because I wanted to be on the controller to be jump instead of A. And so that is an option to change. And then I saw, turn off automatic absorption. Yeah, I'm turning that off because I don't want to suck up an enemy and just get its power. I want to be able to choose if I'm going to do that or spit it back out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, why wouldn't you want? Maybe I'm not that familiar with Kirby games, so why would you not want to?
Maybe it's a power you don't like.
Automatically
Like,
absorb it.
I'm not a
Okay.
huge fan of bomb. Like, it's fun in this, but I'm also not generally a big fan of bomb, so I'd rather just spit it out for damage.
If for whatever reason you have two enemies in front of you and you really want the power of one of them, but like again I'm thinking of Star Allies where it's more 2D, but like you can't melee or like you can't really play close range with some of the power-ups, that it's much easier to just suck in the thing next to you and then spit that at the thing that you actually want the power of.
Yeah, or if
Yeah.
you've got the power that you wanted, like you got hit and now it's knocked away, but you sucked in the wrong enemy, then you spit them out and then suck back in the one you actually want.
Yeah, that's actually a much bigger issue. But yeah, it's that sort of thing. And again, it just feels brain dead when it doesn't even give you the option, because it's like Kirby conceptually isn't any harder now than it was back on the 2D version on GBA. So why is it that they think that kids these days need even more hand-holding?
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Like the same argument can be made in like Pokemon games. How like those are already brain dead games. Well, in the story mode anyway. And then, like, so if you've got the XP share always turned on, it becomes even more brain dead.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's a weird accessibility thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other issue, so it was mostly like a speed and experience thing, going through the levels. But the other thing was that I can't really put my finger on why, but I didn't enjoy using mouthful mode in the ways that the levels, at least in the demo, made you use mouthful mode.
Do you want to explain what mouthful mode is a bit there, big fella?
Yeah, sure. So the whole gimmick, I guess, in Forbidden Land. Oh, I already did it, didn't I? Forgotten Land. See what I mean? It's easy to do by accident.
It'll be the sequel.
Yeah, is that Kirby sucks in something that he can't immediately eat. So he ends up taking the form. Think Rotom in Generation 4 Pokemon, where you just put Rotom in your washing machine, and now Rotom is a washing machine. Kind of similar with Kirby mouthful mode.
I'd also like to add that he can't do this because of the Isekai.
Yeah, I thought this was the Isekai's power. Like it. Oh man, he's in this world, and that's all what gave him the. You know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, because you see, as he's getting transported to this new world, it's like contorting him in ways so that his suck ability doesn't work as effectively in his home world.
Oh, I thought it was like stretching him out. Hey, Kirby, what'd that mouth do?
Yes.
Easy.
Sorry.
Back down. Put down the shovel. In the demo, you get to use mouthful mode on things like a traffic cone or a car or I think there's a third one. Is there a third one?
The cone, the car, and a vending machine.
Oh, yeah, the
Yes,
vending machine,
vending
and then
machine.
also the like really brief. I don't know, like you turn it into like a cap or something, and you mouthful mode a cap off to unleash a jet of water.
Yeah, that one was pretty
that's
funny.
The
to
fire
me.
hydrant,
That
yeah,
one was funny, but yeah, it was all that. But I don't get why the mechanic exists. It doesn't feel like it does anything new. Like the vending machine was interesting. I'll give it that. But the car, it's like, I think again it goes sort of back to the open world thing of like, I'm in a car, I expect to be able to like drive places, but you're given such a limited area, and then it's like, oh, there's like a slight step in front of you. You have to get out of the car again. And the one that confused me the most was that in stage 2, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't matter what stage it is. I don't know why I gave it that. But you mouthful mode a cone, and then the whole cone gimmick is that you can get to upend it and like smash something breakable from the top, like, you know, like one of the turtle enemies or like a pipe and various bits and pieces. Fine. It's a weird gimmick, but fine. So you do that, and then you go around the corner, and then there's another cone for you to mouthful mode something with, and it's the same thing twice. It seems like it just breaks the flow. Like, I really liked. Sorry, I'll let you go.
You go ahead. I'll chime in later.
Sure. So I really liked in the previous Kirby games where they would just introduce a puzzle at some point in the level, and it's like, oh, you need flame guy because you're going to light a fuse, and then you need to run over and hop in the cannon. But oh no, you can't get to the cannon right away. You need to like freeze a waterfall or something, and you need to like figure it out. And I'm worried that the mouthful mode gimmick is going to replace a lot of what that was supposed to do, and that those are the moments where it slows down the gameplay and you spend a lot of time in one area, but it doesn't feel like a good equivalency.
Yeah, see, that was the point I was going to touch on because, okay, so the car thing, before I move on to that, is like, yeah, the car's very limited, and that's weird to me that they didn't do something to show it off more, because that's been the big one for the advertisements, and you're given like a 30-second trial of what that is, and so it's really weird that like it's in there, but you barely do anything with it. You just go along this one track, and then that's it. The car's done.
Did you enjoy driving around the garage floor? Hope you did, because that's all you get.
Yeah, just do donuts and put on Eurobeat.
Yeah. It felt like it was giving you a taste, and then it was like, well,
play
it
the
wasn't
full
even
game.
a taste. It was like, yeah, you have a lick of the lollipop. If you want the rest of it,
pay us
your money.
$60 for the.
You don't even lick the
rest.
lollipop. You take off the wrapper and then lick the wrapper.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, did I like that? I don't know.
But what was the second point you were going to say?
So yeah, the puzzles, like the cone thing. Yeah, you're right that in other games you'd use Kirby's powers, and like with the fire you'd light the fuse, or you'd find something that you need to use the hammer on. And I think this is trying to circumvent the thing where in some Kirby games you'd have to take a power from one level to take it into another level, and then use that power to do something. And this is just like, okay, well, instead of doing that, we'll just place these mouthful mode items right next to the thing so that you don't have to spend time jumping between levels and making sure you have the right power. And I'm not sure if that's the right solution. I think the right solution would have just been like, hey, you're going to need hammer in this level later. We'll put hammer in this level at some point and just try to hang on to it for when that puzzle comes up.
Yeah.
Because like the cone ability, the cone mouthful like just reminds me of the stone ability. Like, why isn't that just like you jump up and use stone?
Yeah.
All right. So funny story with that. Really. Sorry, I'll let you speak in a sec, Steve.
No, that's
wow.
Oh, yeah.
Way too many S's in that. I'll let you speak in a sec, Steve. But first, Seth, I wanted to tell a story. Wow, how many S's was in that?
A lot.
The last Kirby thing that I played was Smash, so I was trying to down B just naturally.
Yeah,
he's not doing it anymore.
Why aren't I stone?
There was actually a Kirby game that had Smash as an ability, and it was fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it just turned all of his buttons into his Smash moveset. It was great.
That's great. Anyway, Steve, what were you going to say?
Well, no, I'm just about to say, like, the demo wasn't that long. Like, I probably was like 25, 30 minutes for me on my just one playthrough. Like, we're getting to the point where like we're chatting about the demo more than the actual demo was.
Yeah, no, like I said, this is homework. I did everything in the demo in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if that's what I wanted out of. When I think of demo, maybe I'm thinking of like the old school demos that I used to get with like the Xbox magazine disc, and like some of the game demos would like be like a couple of hour trials or something, or something with like a lot of replayability.
Or something that's just like very open and it puts you on like a 30-minute time limit.
Yes.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if this felt enough to be warranted as a demo. Like, it gave me like the lick of the wrapper, but I don't even think I could even register what the wrapper flavor was.
I think they needed one more level that was more substantial than what was already in there.
Like a later game level.
Yeah, exactly. What I want. So Monster Hunter does demos quite well, I think, and that the whole point of the game is that you fight a monster. So the demo is that they just give you 3 monsters to fight: an easy one, a medium one, and a hard one. And I get it's Kirby, we're not going to do a hard level, but make it 3 distinct things to do, because even the boss level is still in pretty much the same environment. So all we got environment-wise is a flavor of it's a city and it's green.
Yeah, and that leads into what Steve was saying earlier. Was like, is it 3 different levels, or is it just one level split up into 3 sections?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I would have said it's like the first area of like the first, like for a better term, like a world, like the forest world, whatever you call the plains world, whatever you call it.
It's Green Hill Zone.
Yeah, Green Hill Zone.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. We're back.
Gotta go at a brisk pace.
Yeah. Gotta it's
Gotta
so
go
true.
suck.
The other issues that I had is that even if it's a 3D area, I had the same issues with Pokemon in that when Sword and Shield came out, it was like, oh, here are these very curated 3D level sections. Fine. For the love of God, let me turn the camera where I want. I got so sick of just having the camera pitched like 40 degrees left or right, and that was as far as I could see, and all I could do was run backwards or forwards. Like, if you gave me full 360 camera, it would feel so much better to play through.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
There was a point where there was like a bridge, but there was also a little lip on the edge of the platform that the bridge was starting on. So I jumped down to like check if there's anything on the bridge, but you can't turn the camera enough to like get a good view. You can't even get it into a view where Kirby is back in camera.
Yeah.
So I was just stuck behind a couple of walls. Like, okay, I'm just running against walls, I guess.
Yeah, and then the third thing, which was sort of tangentially related to that, is that towards it might have been at the start of the boss fight, there was some area where they did a really weird decision on a Switch with all its graphical hiccups, in that they put they put Kirby at the center of the focus in the middle of the screen, and then they blurred the foreground and background like hugely, like wildly blurred it, so that you had this tiny focal plane where Kirby was. And it just looks shit when you do that for a 3D game. Like a 2D game, fine. You have a fixed plane that the character moves across, but you can still turn the camera a little bit. Like, what the hell is the decision thinking? Like, my eyes aren't perfect. I've got one eye that's like way stronger than the other eye, which does most of the seeing. So it wasn't too bad an issue, but if I wanted to focus on something in the foreground and Kirby wasn't standing on top of it, it actually hurt trying to focus on something that was that blurred intentionally.
I didn't even take notice of that.
I think I noticed it, but I don't really think it bothered me that much.
Yeah, it's sort of a nitpick because it was only one area, but I didn't understand why it was why they decided to do it that way. But yeah, my biggest thing is, I thought it was open world and it's 3D. Fine, I can adjust to that, but just let me turn the camera, please.
2.5D, baby. That's what you're getting.
Yeah, so I don't know. I know that we've been talking about this for a while, and yeah, it is just the Kirby demo. But yeah, I was hyped for this game, and I think I'm actually less hyped now, which is terrible to say. I think Josh's probably more hyped. What are you two at? You more or less hyped after playing the demo?
I'm a little bit less excited than initially. I still think it'll be fine and probably a very fun game, but yeah, this didn't put it in a very good light, mostly because of just how simple everything was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I probably wasn't going to get the game. Like, it doesn't really appeal to me, and it appeals even less to me. Like, I was getting a bit of FOMO when you fellas were talking about it. There were a bunch of memes going around about Kirby doing the big suck, but I'm less interested at all. Depending on what the full game is like, it's look like it's going to be a pass for me, dog.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those, because I also wasn't super enthused by Elden Ring until it came out, and everyone said this is the greatest shit ever. So if that by some miracle happens with Kirby, yeah, I'll probably get it. But in terms of this being a day one thing that I pick up and play, probably not anymore. I'll wait and see.
The good news is that it's a Nintendo game, so no matter when you get it, it'll be full price.
God, I fucking hate that so fucking much.
Don't worry, I can just listen to the soundtrack online, right? Oh, wait, fuck, sorry, I can't. My bad.
We miss you, Silver Gunner.
Yeah, bring it back.
Do.
Sometimes I think Nintendo has released
You were too pure for this world.
They've released the Pokemon soundtrack on Spotify now. If you want to give it a listen.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably as far as we need to take the Kirby discussion. Yeah, I don't know. When Josh is back, we'll be sure to get his thoughts. Going to be him absolutely gushing over it for 20 minutes. Anyway,
maybe it's a good thing he missed this.
And now we get to see if he actually listens to episode 15, because I'm just gonna get a random message being like, "Hey, I need you to just redact everything you said in episode 15."
Don't talk about
Heard
Kirby
you were
without
talking
me.
shit. Yeah. But yeah, no, with that, that brings us to the end of People's Weeks. I realize, I don't know, I probably should be discussing this off air, but I realize I think I've been concluding it as we conclude Round the Lounge. But Round the Lounge is more like the taster intro before we get into the discussion. Would you guys say that we're at the end of Round the Lounge or the end of the week discussion?
I'd say still round the lounge.
Round the Lounge, so it's a bit of a thing now. That's fine. Yeah. Well, we're now at the end of. Sorry, Steve, you didn't even say anything. Thoughts?
No, I agree. I'm just too busy watching the Penrith Panthers win at the moment, fellas.
What's the score?
24-6, baby.
Home runs?
Easy. Yes. No, it's 24 home runs to 6 outs.
How many strikes?
13 out of 5.
Like, do they have any spares, or were they like?
Are we at the bottom of the 9?
No, we're at we're at the second. 2 out of 5, baby.
2 out of 5, bottom of the 9s. Damn.
Oh, he's just chopped a ball.
A long night ahead.
The guy just chopped a ball. But I will. That's what happens.
That's illegal in cricket. Anyway, yeah, I got wildly off topic there too. That does bring us to the end of part 1 for this week, and we get to move on to part 2, which is the news for this week. Actually, so happens that today was the Sony State of Play, which we will get into. But first up on the docket, we have an article from, actually, this is going to... almost all of the articles this week are from Gematsu. The first one of those, at least, is that Love Has Won. We have a DLC coming to Haven, as I understand it, which I've never played. Which of us have played Haven?
I haven't. I've seen a lot of it, and it does look kind of interesting. It's something I'd like to play with my girlfriend at some time, but I kind of forgot it existed until this article came out.
What is it? I'm watching a quick video on it now. For some reason I thought it was like a Animal Crossing farming type of simulator.
No, it's an adventure RPG game that's very heavily on co-op. I think the whole game is co-op and is like a couple going through this adventure together in a space colony.
Yo, it takes 2 in space. Let's go.
Yeah,
It takes
basically.
space.
But what's going on with this update is that
yeah, so why don't you tell us about the update stuff?
So originally it was just a male-female relationship, and that a lot of people not really took issue with it, but it's like, well, why is it just male-female? Why aren't there other representations of couples? And now they're going, okay, well, we're going to actually do that. So now you can do male-male or female-female couples as well, which, good on them.
Yeah, that's cool. Don't know that there's a huge amount more we can add to that. If you're a fan of Haven, yeah, good news.
It does look cool. It's different to what I thought it was. I'm just watching a quick video. There's a new trailer they brought out for it, and I'm watching that now. It looks very different to what I imagined in my head, but I don't know why, because I don't think I've really thought about it. But
yeah, and the game's on everything as well. Like, it's on Switch, PC, both PlayStation, current consoles, and
I get the
the
feeling
Xbox consoles.
I get the feeling it was just came off Game Pass, which it's unfortunate, but it'd be like that.
Anyway, not much more we can add to it. Next up on the docket, we have some Lost Judgment DLC coming soon, coming before the end of the month. I haven't played Lost Judgment either.
Lost Judgment is something that... Okay, I haven't played it, but it's part of the Yakuza series in a sense. Like, it's in that same universe.
It's Detective Yakuza.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And the Yakuza games are fantastic, so this just adds onto that series of being... And I've heard that Lost Judgment is a fantastic game. But I think this is worth highlighting because I think it's very funny that a few months ago, maybe just before we started the podcast, I don't think we ever talked about it, but a lot of the characters have real-world actors face scanned, and the main character for the Judgment games, his agency is very hard stanced against not showing not having their characters show up in PC spaces because they're afraid that people are going to take all their marketing material and stuff and Photoshop and do stupid things, and to the point where whenever there's digital magazines, they have to black out in silhouettes the actors from that agency
That's right. I remember reading about that. Yeah, that's completely fucking nuts.
Yeah, so the Judgment games are apparently never coming to PC because of that company. So
Yeah, because they're so worried about like someone would like do a deep fake of it or something.
yeah, or like do
Oh.
nude mods or
Yeah.
something for the character, or
I couldn't
just
tell if you meant
change it.
PC, the console, or like politically correct spaces, because they might
Oh,
take marketing
no.
material and do weird shit with it. It was like, that's such a weird line. But yeah, okay, PC in general, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the PC
so-
platform.
So this DLC is getting rid of the main character from the Judgment games and replacing it with his partner. So they're getting rid of the main character and replacing him with Kaito, which he looks very Kiryu-ish as well.
Yeah, from the one image that I've seen of this, yeah, I'd agree.
But he's getting his own story and combat styles that are very different from Yagami's styles, and so $30 unless you own the season pass, which no additional cost. It seems interesting and seems like a lot of work for a DLC.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you want.
Yeah.
I'll still need to pick up Lost Judgment. I still got to go through Yakuza 5, Yakuza 6,
Yeah,
Yakuza 7.
I own all the games and they're sitting right there for me to play through back to back.
Yeah.
It's just they're long games. I need to take the time to go through them all.
Yeah. And also play the alarm, fellas. The footy game's off. Penrith won 28-6, baby. We did it. First game of the season.
That's kind
and
of
we
a
won.
blowout.
And it's become the games are either a blowout or they're tied up. Like it's pretty shit. Like you know which teams are going to make the top 8 early on. But we did it, fellas. Panthers won the first game and they're going to win the last game.
You could have just introduced it as breaking news into Fast Travel Lounge.
Yeah, fuck, I should have. We can edit
Sports
It's funny,
update.
'cause people aren't going to listen to this for a week.
Well, they should know.
Going over to
Well,
sports,
okay.
Steve, give us the latest.
yeah. Crossing live to Steve out in the middle of the footy pitch.
We won. We put the ball down more times than they did.
We got
Thanks
into
for
the
that,
end
Steve.
zone.
And now to the weather, Seth.
It's raining.
It's raining.
Yeah, I fucking thought so.
New South Wales and Queensland are flooded.
God left the tap running again. Anyway, I don't think there's too much more to add to the Lost Judgment DLC, but yeah, that's cool.
Also, just wanted to point out as well, because we didn't mention it, that's launching March 28th, so later this month. 2 weeks away, actually, from recording.
Shoot, it is. Just about. Next up on the list, we have a delay for Forspoken, which...
Honestly, not surprised after the last time we
No.
saw this.
Good, I think.
Yeah, it's like a full 6-month delay, I think.
I wasn't enthused by anything that I saw about Forspoken.
Yeah, definitely.
It
Put it
looks
back in.
very rough as well. Like, just performance-wise, it looks really rough. It looks like a lot of empty land.
Yeah, a shit ton of empty land.
Yeah, so this is being delayed to October 11th now, rather than coming out on May 24th.
I love that there's a quote from the production studio in the article from Luminous Productions speaking about the delay. To quote, "Our vision for this exciting new IP is to deliver a game world and hero that gamers across the globe will want to experience for years to come. So getting it right is extremely important to
I guess it's supposed to be us, but there's a
it's to us.
typo.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be to us. What I find funny about that is that I'm pretty sure, yes, a lot of it is because it's very rough and unpolished and doesn't look intriguing at all. I'm sure other parts of it are because they've seen that like Babylon's Fall and Forbidden West and other open world games that have been releasing near Elden Ring have just... Actually, I think Forbidden West got away with it, but a lot of the other ones have just kind of tanked with people going, oh, this is a good open world game, and everything else is shit by comparison, and they're probably freaking out.
Yeah, but May was far enough away where I think that wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, you might be right. But yeah, I hope that they do something to make this game more enticing, because I'll be giving this one a hard miss until I see something more than the barren wasteland of a gameplay trailer we got.
I'm interested because the movement at least looks like a lot of fun, and the combat does seem pretty fun with what they're doing for the magic, but not 115 Australian dollars fun. So
Yeah,
I was
God, no.
I was going to get this later at a sale price, and all this has really done is delayed when I'm going to buy the game.
Which some would say is what the point of the delay was, to delay people buying the game. Anyway, next up on the list, we have Gotham Knights launching October 25th. So, I'll be honest about this one. I first read it. Actually, I had the same response to this as the new Batman film of, they're doing another, the Batman film, they're just doing the Christopher Nolan films again. Woohoo. And then I read Gotham Knights, they're just doing the Arkham games again. I'm like, yay. I fucking hope it goes well for you. Good luck. But then I read a bit more, and I'm actually kind of into this. I actually kind of like the look of this.
Yeah, no. When this was announced, I was really excited for this because it seems like a generally good idea to continue the Arkham universe.
I'm very keen for it. Like when it was announced, last year, they announced a bunch of them. Yeah, there's this one, and there's
the Suicide Squad.
Squad killed. Yeah, the Kill the Justice League. Yeah, that one looks pretty good as well. It's obviously very different to what this is going to be. But I love those the old Arkham City, Arkham Knight games. Actually, sorry, this is Arkham Knight. No, this is Gotham Knight. Sorry, now
this is Gotham Knights. We got Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. I think,
yep.
Yes,
in order.
I think that's it. Yep. Yeah, and I love those. Those sort of weirdly pioneered that counter.
Yeah, they were kind of the first
genre.
one to do that, and a lot of games have copied it.
Yeah,
it worked really well.
And as much as I fucking hate to say it because it's a shit thing to say, it's that those games really made you feel like Batman, like you did feel.
There's the donkey line.
I hate it.
You realize we have to pay him royalties now, right?
Yeah, we do. I actually watched it.
He won. He just won.
Good. If anybody could win, it'd be Donkey. I actually watched that video yesterday, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to say it.
It's true though. It does.
Yeah,
that's
does.
the major selling point.
Yeah, and that's sort of probably why they're so popular. And they sort of did come out on the back of those, the Christopher Nolan trilogy, and it came out at a good time. And now that we're seeing this resurgence of Batman with
Batman,
the new Robert Pattinson one.
It's been 10 years. Time to flog the dead horse again.
Yeah, and the whole what's the last guy that played Batman?
Christian
Ben
Bale?
Affleck?
Or you mean the
Ben Affleck?
recent one?
No, Ben Affleck, the recent one. Well, technically, he's the last guy because Edward Patterson.
Yeah, no, I know. My bad. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but it just seems like no one really cared about the old one, and it's sort of now that we've got a new one, everyone's sort of getting keen for it again. But we sort of there has been a big gap in superhero games.
Spider-Man's been holding down the fort between Arkham games.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Avengers
just came out. Let's not talk about Avengers. Live service
Marvel
games.
versus Capcom.
We don't talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
I don't think it has rollback netcode. Is that the problem?
It does.
Oh, okay.
But it was shit in every other department.
All right.
Anyway, we're getting a little bit off topic. The main selling points, because I actually didn't know much about Gotham Knights, but if this sounds interesting, maybe keep your ear to the ground about it. We have a new guard of DC heroes. I'm basically just going to rip stuff from the Gematsu article, actually. Ooh. But you can play as not just Batman, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin.
Batman won't actually be in this. It's those 4 characters.
Yeah. And then to follow up, the major selling point for me is that online co-op is going to be a focus of this, which would be cool because I don't think there was any co-op in any of the previous ones.
There was not. They teased it a little bit in Arkham Knights, but that ended up being like team-up attacks with computer characters that would show up every now and then.
Unique character abilities customization, as expected, and then exploring an open world Gotham City, which cool.
Yeah,
worked well for the other times that that they did it. So hope it goes well.
Exploring open world Gotham with another person in co-op would be a lot of fun, and it's basically the main selling point of this game.
It's that grouping that I like because I've my mental image of this is that it's like a Batman meets Saints Row experience, and I'm kind of hoping that that's what turns out of maybe not the goofiness of Saints Row, but like having a big thing to explore.
I know exactly what you
get
mean.
the picture. Yeah. Anyway, next up on the list we have some more news about Sunbreak, which will be super interesting. I'm excited for that. Coming very soon. In fact, we're probably telling people after it happened. What did you guys think of the event?
I can't believe they're bringing it to Xbox.
Oh, No, when this goes up, if we put it on time, it will be the day before that this live event happens.
Well, I loved it anyway, just in case. But in case this comes out, before the event goes up, I will love it. There we go. Bases covered. No, it's been announced that Sunbreak is getting a digital event set for March 15th at 7 a.m. Hang on, I'm not even sure how to read that title. 7 a.m. Not to 10 a.m.
I think they did a typo again, but it'll be 11 o'clock Japan time.
Yeah, that's much.
11 p.m. Japan.
Yeah, 11 p.m. Japan time.
That's pretty much 11 p.m. City time.
No, it'll be about 8 p.m. for us.
Oh, close
yeah,
enough.
a couple hours difference. But yeah, we'll get more info on Sunbreak, which I am super keen for.
So am I.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the silence was getting a bit weird. I was like, come on, Seth, I know you're keen for
sorry. It took me a second for my brain to kick in. Yeah, no, Sunbreak is something I'm very excited for. I've been a little bit away from Rise for now, mostly because Elden Ring and some other games came out. But getting ready for Sunbreak and knowing when that comes out will be a very good time to jump back into Rise and just get ready for it.
Yep. I'm in a bit of a weird state where I'm absolutely ready for Sunbreak on Switch, but I'll likely end up playing it on PC, and I'm not ready for it on PC.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not ready on either.
Anyway, yeah, really looking forward to that. Next up in the list, though, we have the EVO 2022 lineup being announced, with Smash being the headline. Did I read that right?
No, Smash was down at the bottom, like not even showing up.
So it's the surprise guest game. I see.
No, the surprise guest game is Nick All-Star Brawl.
I'm, of course, referencing the fact that Nintendo decided that after Sony bought EVO that they didn't want people to enjoy their game anymore. So, congrats, Nintendo. I
very
guess
Nintendo
you
move.
Won. It's such a Nintendo move. Anyway, we discussed this last week. I'm still annoyed.
Yeah, I don't blame you. This was a very bad way to announce these as well because it sounded good on paper, but in practice it was really bad. Whenever they announced a game that was showing up for the lineup, they'd go to some popular commentators for that game and then do an exhibition match. And if the exhibition match was just like one game, that would have been fine because it would have kept things going at a brisk pace. But these games did best of threes.
They played sets. Oh.
Yeah. So
guys,
after like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we were only 3 games deep into 9 games that needed to be announced. So that wasn't great, but the game announcements
and they're trying to like hype up the live stream. They're like, we can pull it back and show us the next game.
I think it was pre-recorded, so like you weren't getting any of their reactions to the Twitch chat.
Amazing oversight.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea on paper, but in practice it was really bad. Because it's like, here's the game, here's what it looks like, get excited for it.
Yeah, and now you get to spend the next 5 minutes watching 2 people play it.
But so the games that are actually going to show up, a lot of them are very expected. We got Street Fighter V Champion Edition, which this will probably be its last year at EVO. Guilty Gear Strive, Mortal Kombat 11, Tekken 7, King of Fighters 15. As a little bit of a surprise is Melty Blood will be there. Dragon Ball FighterZ is obvious. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is a little surprising, but also not, because I think Cygames sponsors EVO, so they'll want their game there. And the last one is Skullgirls, because that's been having a resurgence as of late and getting another season pass with lots of new characters coming in.
And measured at the top of the ticket, Nick All-Star Brawl.
Yeah, Nick All-Star Brawl, very popular choice right there.
We made it.
Hell yeah!
Can't honestly not believe it. Made it. Cannot believe it.
They're
They
also
said it couldn't be done.
I can't wait for that one professional player to beat that other professional player at the game we all know and love, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Alpharad's taking the gold. But
Patrick
yeah,
Starmain's check in.
they're changing how the lineup works this year. Like usually you'd have Street Fighter as the big final game of the year of the events, just because legacy. But this year they're deciding that it's going to be based on tournament entrant numbers. So whatever game has the least amount of entrants is going to be the big headliner for Friday nights, and whatever has the most entrants is going to be the headliner for Sunday night. Which seems like a much fairer way to pace out the tournament.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah. You sad not to see Smash on that list?
A little. The thing with Smash is that it always took up 2 slots for the main stage, because they always wanted to support Ultimate, but the Melee fan base wants Melee there, and they're very vocal about where's Melee. So it always took up 2 slots that I felt like could have gone to other games that could have used the attention. Like Skullgirls could have used that attention.
Fair. Plus the stench, I imagine, would have been just absolutely knockout.
Yeah, and the shit in pools as well. Not a great time. Oh, also should mention that Evo will be running the weekend of August 5th through the 7th.
Oh yeah, definitely should have mentioned that. Thank you. At Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, Vegas at the Mandalay Bay Resort.
Mandalay Casino.
They also mentioned that this year's venue is going to be 50% bigger than the last time they were there. So that's very good. They need the space.
Well, they haven't been there the last 2 or 3 years because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, they've been doing online.
They
They did online last year, and they skipped the year before. But 2019, I think, was the last time they did it in person, and that was at Mandalay Bay as well. So it's going to be 50% bigger than when they did the 2019 event.
Cool. Next up on the list, we had the State of Play today, this morning, in fact. I know very little about these games, so I might just have some combination of the two of you, like, just laundry list it a little bit and maybe pick a couple that you want to talk about, but I don't know that we're going to spend a huge amount of time on these.
Some of these will just quickly rattle off, but I've got a good idea on most of these that I can give a brief overview for the ones that we do need a brief overview on. So
Cool.
starting off, Capcom announced Exoprimal, which is not
skip.
I think this looks pretty neat. But a lot of people were very disappointed because they thought this was going to be Dino Crisis, because it's full of dinosaurs and there's a red-haired woman main character. So it seems like it's set up for Dino Crisis.
It's Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah. This is going to be a 5-player co-op game where you go against hordes of dinosaurs. But
5 players? What a weird number.
Yeah, it's.
Is that just me, or is that like weird mobile levels?
It's the perfect number for split screen. What do you mean?
It's because we're so used to 4 players, but yeah, this is like a squad of 5. But they also said that, like, as you're doing these levels, you'll also be like competing against other teams doing the same level as you, and like you're just trying to get off missions that are randomly generated to outdo them. So it's kind
randomly
of like
generated missions. Oh man, oh boy.
So it's going to be like a competitive co-op game.
It's using all the right buzzwords. That's triggering me in a way that's.
I bet it
revolting.
uses blockchain and AI too.
Oh, can't wait to get some NFTs. This seems like a very. Remember that Evolve game that came in like 2014?
Yeah, I remember Evolve.
Yeah. It seems just judging by that description, because it did not register in my mind when I was reading the catch up. From this, but yeah, skip next.
I can't wait to play Exoprimal for the small price of $20 and then pay $400 in DLC.
I think it'll be worth 80 Australian dollars.
Yeah, you're banned from making points of reference, big fella. maybe when Dragon Ball Breakers comes out.
Okay, so quick laundry list. Ghostwire Tokyo was shown. Just another recap trailer to say, hey, this is coming out in a couple of weeks. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. No, I want to mention that this is a demo dropped, which has the first 3 levels of the game.
Demo's on Xbox. Skip.
No, it is.
No, it's not. This new one's only for PS4 and PS5.
No, it's on everything. It's because it's just straight up a snippet from the start of the game that you can transfer to save over. It's only not on PC at the moment.
Oh, the article I read said it was only on.
Maybe that article was because maybe that article was assuming because it was on the State of Play, but no, they've put it on both consoles.
All right, then it looks like I will download it because I missed the last demo because I downloaded it and got lazy.
Yeah, no, and having this,
maybe we shouldn't skip this one.
Yeah, no, and having the save transfer to the full game is also a good thing because it's getting people invested in trying out this demo. I'm already seeing people on my Twitter timeline talking about the story, and I want to get into this, but I got to play Elden Ring first.
Yeah, got you there.
Yeah, And this is why I want to try and finish Elden Ring before next week, because Stranger of Paradise comes out next Friday.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was made by the people that made Neo. So you might pretty much be getting a Elden Ring sort of type of style.
Yeah, very Neo-ish. It's more action than it is like hardcore kill you sort of thing. But yeah, also Forspoken just quickly showed up.
Woo.
Yeah, Gundam Evolution, a hero shooter for the Gundam games.
I don't know what I think about this. No.
Gundam Overwatch.
Yeah, boy.
It's what it seems like. I don't know about your guys' interaction with the Gundam sort of fandom. It seems like this should definitely be set in space with big space battles, but there isn't.
I think this is more on space colonies than in space.
But
yeah.
It's in like hallways and corridors. Like it didn't really seem as open as what I thought.
Yeah, maybe if we see more, they might have more open stuff. But yeah, this is more going towards that like competitive hero shooter sort of angle than it is like open battlefield sort of thing. And they do They do a lot of open battlefield Gundam games. So
there's like those Gundam Warriors games. And I remember playing PS2 one, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is garbage!" And I didn't understand it.
There's also that really long title one that's like Maxi Burst On. That's like a full 3D arena competitive one.
It's close to like the custom Robo series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of those type of games. So this is probably them trying something different for once.
And also, as a follow-up to the Final Fantasy, it is available on the Xbox. I was incorrect. This article has now been updated. You can get it for Xbox.
Whoa, breaking news.
Yep, I've since downloaded it due to the magics of remote download.
from the middle of the football pitch.
Yep. So the Panthers have won, and Final Fantasy demo is available on the Xbox.
And I'm excited for you to talk about it next week.
Well, let's see if I remember.
Yeah. Next up on the list.
Next up on the list, though. Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection. This is a collection of 13 games, I think it was. So
Skip.
No, this is pretty fun because they're also adding online for all the like beat 'em up games and everything. So this could be a lot of fun for people that enjoy these type of games.
Look, I'm just gonna say it. I know this isn't gonna be very popular when I say it. Beat 'em ups are fucking shit. They're not fun.
You are extremely wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, they're not fun.
Hi, Hotline Miami. Would like to know your location.
I wouldn't have called Hotline Miami a beat 'em up.
I'd call it close. You're right. It wasn't the best example, but it's probably the closest thing to a beat 'em up that I've played recently.
Yeah,
look,
that I can think of.
Anyway. I'm just excited to do sewer surfing with the boys. That's all.
That's not a beat 'em up, so it's alright.
That was a beat 'em up game.
Was it?
Yes.
Maybe. I saw like of the 17 games, I know 3 of them, and I get the feeling that they might have all blended into one. So maybe not.
I mean, hey, reading is hard, right? That's the theme of this episode.
But it's not even reading; it's how watching the trailer. I'm so busy with all these demos and these football games going on, and
it's hard to keep track of everything.
It's true. It's true.
Too busy hitting the skip button.
Maybe if you didn't sleep through everything, you'd maybe actually see what the games are.
Maybe if they captured my interest, right?
But speaking of sleep, Gigabash, I have no idea what this is. I saw the trailer and it's like this weird, like for competitive monster game. No idea what this is. Just saying, hey, this showed up. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R got
we made it, baby.
Yeah,
Joe Bros, we won again.
It looks like that they're doing a big upgrade to this game because it looks like they're adding assist characters to the battle system. They mentioned that they're overhauling the battle system to make it more like a proper fighting game. It looks like it's running at 60 FPS now, which is good because the PS3 version ran at 30 FPS and
30 frames.
30 frame fighting games is horrible.
30 frames and then one person does like one move and it's like, okay, you're at 15.
Yep.
I've seen also a couple of leaks for this, a couple of like new characters that leak as well. I think Prosciutto from Part 5 and I can't remember his name, the guy who has Red Hot Chili Pepper from Part 4. He's leaked as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Chili.
Yes. No, that's Mr. Pepper.
Oh, my bad.
Because Eyes of Heaven came after this and that had around 50 characters. And this is saying they're going to have over 50 characters. So people are already like kind of predicting that they're just going to backport the characters from Eyes of Heaven to this. So whatever characters were in Eyes of Heaven will probably be in this.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Next up, Trek to Yomi was a interesting looking samurai game. I didn't get a lot of details on this, but it looks really cool from what I saw. And it seems like very story heavy as well. God, I should have watched that trailer again before coming into this because that did look really cool. I'm doing it a disservice by going, yeah, I liked it. I can't tell you what it was.
I'm pretty sure most of us would have played Samurai and Elden Ring, so what's it doing differently?
Being more like traditional samurai than Elden Ring samurai.
Wait, is that not based on historical... what the fuck? From Software, have you been lying to me?
I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't think samurais were in Western medieval settings.
Well, I'm going to have to go and have a bit of a suck about that.
Next up, Returnal is getting an update where they're adding co-ops to the game and doing an endless tower mode. I think co-op for that game is a really smart idea.
Cram it, Steve.
Spoiler alert for the rest of these, Skip. We talked about JoJo. Did you ever play Returnal, Seth?
I didn't because it's still a bit too high priced for me. But
and they had a bunch of bug problems as well.
Yeah, a lot of the updates have been fixing those bug problems and putting in a save feature so people don't lose their 3 hours of progress.
Yeah, I always found that very strange.
Yeah, that would have been good.
It was a developer artistic decision, but it was a stupid decision.
Great.
And the final two announcements are Square Enix going, look, we released Babylon's Fall, but please forget about it and think of other Square Enix games. First up is the Diofield Chronicle, which is a strategy a simulated real-time strategy game where I don't know how to explain this, honestly. It's something you need to watch to kind of get an idea for, but it's a very tactic-heavy game. Real-time strategy. It's the main thing that I wanted to point out for this game is that it's being written by the person that did the Fire Emblem Awakening and Fire Emblem Fates stories.
Yeah,
so
that was a story.
Yeah, so I liked Awakening, but Fates is dog shit. So this has a 50-50 chance of being good or bad. At least in the story department.
I didn't even realize Babylon's Fall was out.
Yeah, no, Babylon's Fall came out a couple days after Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's not very popular.
Bum, 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 bum.
And the last game is Valkyrie Elysium, which is a new game in the Valkyrie series that Square Enix hasn't touched in a long time. Being developed by the people that did... they did some help on No More Heroes 3, and they also did the Samurai Jack game that came out a couple of years ago. It looks pretty interesting. A really bad art style, though. Looks really cheap. But gameplay-wise, it looks pretty interesting. Going more towards an action RPG rather than a turn-based RPG. Not a lot on this either, but it looks pretty good from the trailer they showed. And that's it for the State of Play.
Sweet. Next up on the list, we have news from Kotaku. We've finished all the Gematsu stuff. That Nintendo has decided to indefinitely delay the Advanced Wars game after the whole Russia invading Ukraine thing. I have some thoughts on this. I guess, what's your take on this, Steve?
I can sort of see both sides. Like, it is in bad taste to sort of delay a war game when there's an ongoing invasion of another country. But then, at the same time, I hate to be that kind of guy, but there's been conflict in the world for most of the 21st century, and is it only because a Western nation sort of been invaded that it's getting a lot more attention? It just sort of seems like it's weird. We sort of care about these people getting invaded, so we're just doing like a token gesture type of thing. They could have done really anything else. Like, they could have donated a couple of profits to Ukraine. Just seems like delaying it, just sort of pushing it down the trail type of thing. And realistically, some people might have been looking forward to this as sort of a escapism way.
A lot of other game developers are just pulling games from Russia specifically instead of outright pulling things.
I understand that. That makes sense, pulling them from Russia. That, in a weird sort of roundabout way, that is sort of a borderline private sector sanction. But, yeah, delaying it indefinitely as well. I don't know. It's a bit weird. Shame if you're looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat to where you are, Steve, because I'm probably not going to be able to add too much to what you said. You sort of hit most of my talking points in that. Yeah, it's kind of like, all right, there is a conflict going on in the world, so when would be a good time to release this game? Because there's kind of always a conflict going on.
Or threats of conflicts.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd say is that this is a very similar, or at least the first thing that sprang to my mind about this one, I'm not going to spend too long on this, but Motorstorm Apocalypse, that was stopped or delayed by, I think, 6 months or a year by Evolution Studios because it coincided inconveniently with the earthquakes in New Zealand and Japan. And I don't know, I can kind of see the both sides argument as well, but it's sort of like, it's a video game. You play a video game to, like, you don't generally play a video game to be like, oh man, I bet this is exactly like what's happening in Ukraine, or I bet this racing game in a post-apocalyptic world is exactly like being in downtown Christchurch right now, because it's not. And it's, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of on the side of like, if you don't want to play it, then don't play it, but don't hold everyone else hostage because you don't want to play it, kind of thing. And I feel like that's more where they're catering to with this decision. I don't mean that to sound cruel, and I don't want that to be like a horribly out of touch take, but I don't know. It's kind of like when you hear an offensive joke by a comedian. It's like, all right, you can either cancel it, I guess, or try to, or just move on. And I feel like this is kind of a similar vein of like, yeah, shit happens in the world. Shit's always happening in the world. Like, would any game involving a virus be delayed because of all the people that the coronavirus has killed? Probably not.
That's sort of interesting though, because
I think something did happen with The Last of Us over that, actually.
Oh, that was sort of
did it? I
just
don't remember.
before.
I think The Last of Us 2 got delayed a little bit because of the beginning of the pandemic.
Oh, that just might have been.
Hang on. Well, is that because of
though?
like, yeah, is that because of like labor issues, or is that because of the content? I'm thinking specifically about content.
But there was that Rainbow Six game which was called Quarantine that was announced in 2019 and it was supposed to come out in 2020. They saw the writing on the world. I think it's Ubisoft was the publisher, and I was like, oh shit, maybe it's maybe it's not appropriate to call something Quarantine while the world is in quarantine. I think they renamed it to Extraction.
Yeah, something like that.
And it came out like, because I had to go and redo everything. Because there was a lot of, this is very close to a global pandemic type of thing that sort of eased off the break. It's strange times. Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, I'm just one guy. Like, if it comes out and I buy it, maybe it comes out and I don't buy it. But I don't know. It seems a little pandery to be like, oh no, we don't want to. We want to be really like sensitive towards like these hot button issues where it's like, right, but
you've made yourself a hot button by doing this.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's appropriate for the beginning of the conflicts to like, okay, everything's just started. Let's push it back a little bit, but making it indefinite and not sure when it's going to come out seems a bit iffy. Well, not iffy, but like there's no concrete plans now, and that's putting a lot of people were very excited for this, no matter where they were. And like you guys said, it's a video game. People would be using this as an escapist tool, and just pushing it back to a point where we don't know when it'll come out seems like a bit of a bummer. But yeah, because the whole conflict's just started up, I understand wanting to push it back until things, if things move over.
Weirdly, just a final comment just about the Most of Apocalypse one. I was looking super forward to that, and in like the weirdest sense possible, because it was like a distraction from what was otherwise a shitty situation unfolding in Christchurch. So I don't know. The Japan thing was definitely bigger, but I imagine even in I imagine there will be some people out there that are closer to the Russia-Ukraine conflict that will be disappointed with this decision. But anyway, I don't want to say too much more about it. Any other thoughts from you two, or should we move on?
No, we can move on.
Yeah, but just my last comment is maybe Nintendo is making this a big brain move because it's not ready. And they just sort of like, this is the excuse.
It needs more time in the oven. Oh, we have the perfect excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, next up on the list, the darker side of the state of play announcements today. We have 8 more women coming out against Sony. Sony, you might remember from such bangers as, hey, Activision Blizzard, you should really stop mistreating women in the workplace.
And immediately getting sued right afterwards.
And also having was it like a vice president that was like weirdly into kids?
Yeah, that too.
Like, god damn it, guys. How hard is it in 2022 to be a game studio and not be sexist? That's all I want to know.
Apparently impossible.
Yeah. It's not looking good, is it? It's an industry thing.
Yeah, these sort of allegations come from every studio at this point.
I think it's the finger pointing that gets me. It's like, Activision Blizzard goes down in a ball of flames, which it didn't, but, for like a briefest period of time we thought it might. And everyone comes out like, oh god, that's terrible. Like Sony comes out like big dick swinging like, oh god, that's terrible. We absolutely strive to be an equitable workplace. And then people in Sony are like, hey, we've been mistreated on the basis of like being women. And Sony's like, can we just throw that case out? Or
no, it's different. It doesn't count for us. We're all right.
Fuck, I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. Although, we didn't mention it last week, Activision Blizzard didn't make the news. We really should have made a bigger deal about that, but it didn't make the news.
It didn't this week either.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more impressive last week because it's the first break in a while. Yeah, it could have.
Yeah.
They're sitting there, they're waiting.
Yeah. The longer we wait, the bigger the bombshell's going to be.
Yeah, well, the problem is, I think you're right. Anyway, there's talks about how, as I mentioned, there was a case that came up as a
in November last year
by a former employee, and Sony tried to get the case thrown out. And as how a lot of these things go, when they try and sweep it under the rug, a whole lot of other similar stories come out to corroborate the first one and strengthen the case. So, fuck me, guys. How? Like, just why?
Yes, I think they were trying to get it struck out because they were trying to say, look, no one else has come out about these sort of things happening.
Bet.
Yeah. They were trying to make it like, they were trying to pin it on her, like, I don't want to say making shit up, but like her being a one-time deal, and so maybe her experience wasn't conducive with like how the PlayStation studios actually are, and now we've got more evidence that no, this is just how the studio is. Yeah,
8 more women, in fact. I don't want to spend too long on this. It's shitty.
Yeah,
I'm sick of reading
it's
about
the same
this
sort
shit.
of it's the same sort of accounts of like sexual harassment, gender wage cap, allegedly porn was also involved at some point.
Yeah,
discrimination against pregnant women as well.
Common one.
Happy International Women's Day.
Yeah, happy International Women's Day. Fucking God. Anyway, to end the news segment on lighter news, well, fuck, maybe not. You be the judge. There was a whole bunch of primarily indie developers, I'm pretty sure, that got together and wanted to raise some money for Ukraine. So they put together a great big bundle of like 1,000 fucking items on itch.io as a bundle for Ukraine. You can Google it pretty easily. With the goal of raising $4 million, and you only have to chip in 10 US bucks or as much as you want to donate. And they, as of checking it right now, have made $3,401,000, which is pretty good going. We have 85% of the goal, 233,765 people have bought into it. Average donation is $14.55, which is great because that's above the $10 minimum. And the top contributor was 9K. So, if you want to do something for Ukraine and pick up a bunch of... I'm not going to sing praises to any of these games because I know none of them, but I'm sure there's some good bangers in here.
Super Hot was on that list, and Super Hot is something I've been wanting to play for a long time.
Good point. Super Hot is the one that I did recognize in this, but I mean, a few of them look good. I haven't played any of them other than Super Hot, but yeah, go check it out. And if nothing else, think of it as a donation to the shitty situation over in Eastern Europe right now. But that is the end of the news for this week. I guess we'll just move on to the audience question. Anonymous writes in saying, "Hey Kings, big fan. What is your favorite minigame in a game and why?" I think this question is getting at trying to figure out something that isn't part of the main gameplay loop, but is like a separate offering. Is that kind of...
Yeah, like
depends on how we define
just
minigame.
just a side distraction that comes up in the middle of the general gameplay loop, I'd find.
Look, I'm gonna be real honest with you, fellas. It's Gwent, isn't it? It's fucking Gwent.
Oh.
I was waiting for that. I knew someone would bring up Gwent.
Not Gwent, but Triple Triad.
Oh, fine. Or Pazak. It's this fucking thing. From Knights of the Old Republic too. I was a really big fan back in like the PS2 Xbox era, like during loading screens, you'd press the button really fast and something would happen in the loading screen.
Oh yeah, all the Dragon Ball games had something like that in there.
There's a Master Roshi one, and if you spin the thumbstick around, he would rotate around.
There was a Yamcha one which spawned blocks and you had to move the analog stick in the directions of them to break them.
Yeah, didn't those end up going away because it was like Capcom copyrighted them, so you couldn't do them anymore or something like that?
I don't know.
I remember reading some story about it 3 years ago, and it sort of fell out of my brain. It just seemed very scummy practice that it went away. But at the same time, there's no loading screens these days anyway.
Yeah, but it would have been very useful for the PS4 and Xbox One generation where loading screens were very bad.
I don't know. I'd prefer my elevators. But yeah, does anything beat Gwent? Half of the Yakuza games, like with the golf and the darts.
Oh man, the miniature racings in
Kiwami,
Yakuza 0 and Kiwami.
Yeah, and Kiwami. Those are fucking sick. Oh,
those are so good.
Yeah, those are great.
Bury those children in those pocket circuit races.
Fuck yeah, those are really good actually.
The karaoke and the dancing in the Yakuza games as well.
Yeah, those good as well.
Honestly, the karaoke is pretty up there because I love how midway through they just break out into this absurd situation like singing 24-Hour Cinderella with Majima, and then it just breaks out into him in like a roller derby with 5 other people dancing around in jumpsuits.
Yeah, it is pretty good. All the fishing from most JRPGs are sometimes alright.
I like the fishing in Okami.
Haven't played Okami.
Okami is a very good game.
Yeah, I've got it.
You should.
It's on the list. It's on the list.
It is a very good trilogy of games packed into one game.
Oh, I was gonna say what? All the Zelda games have good fishing. Every fucking JRPG has a fishing minigame now.
How are you feeling on this question, Pat?
I just can't think of a game that has... Like, I'm just trying to, like, even just recently, I'm trying to think of something that's had a minigame in it.
How about some of the old Ratchets, like the racing in the Ratchet games or the Colosseums?
Yeah, that springs to mind. But the problem is, I don't count that. Like, the racing I count as quite different, but the Colosseums is basically just the same gameplay loop.
Yeah, but in a
place.
Yeah, in a like Enemy Rush sort of situation. I
was trying to think of the name of that Final Fantasy VIII card game.
Triple Triad.
Oh, that one was Triple Triad?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that my favorite minigame would be Final Fantasy VIII because the main game is Triple Triad.
Good one.
Yeah, no, Triple Triad in Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy XIV are at the top of the list as well. 14, you're just in an MMO world, and like randomly you'll come across characters that have a little card over their head, and it's like, hey, do you want to fight me for a Triple Triad card? And it's like, yes, I will stop the story to face you.
Or me getting fresh off the boat in Assassin's Creed 3 and losing all my money to a street gambler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for that dumbass shell game.
To like Nine Man Morris or something.
Yeah. No,
would you guys consider... So this is something that I saw a meme of the other day. You know how when you're in... Yeah, well, see, I'm not really sure what I felt about it. When I saw it, I laughed. But like now, it's sort of been in the back of my mind. So you guys have played Fallout before, haven't you?
I have not.
Which one? Because I've only played a little bit of Fallout 3 and New Vegas.
Oh, well, 3 New Vegas and 4. There's like when you're hacking into a terminal, it almost becomes like a Wordle minigame.
Oh, like okay.
Yeah, so you've got like, I think it's like 3 or 4 tries depending on your skill level. And it'll be like, okay, some of the harder things will have like 8 letters and you've got like a bunch to choose from. And it will show you like how many words are correct and stuff. And I always really enjoyed that. And it's sort of very close to Wordle. But if you get them all wrong, you can get locked out of the thing. And you can get like, and it's like, oh shit, and you
There's
really only get like 3 or 4 tries.
And BioShock also had their hacking minigame, which was pipes.
Yeah, those are sick as well. Yeah, that was really good.
Yes, that was quite an enjoyable minigame, actually. I liked that one. I was also thinking of in Sly 3, there are a bunch of, I guess you'd call them minigames.
Yeah, Sly 3 is full of minigames.
And being variants to the main game that you play. Or, I mean, Little Big Planet might be straying the line a little bit, but the Little Big Planet, Little Big Planet 2 has a bunch of minigames that were also really fun. There's not one that sticks out. I think the one that's the only one that really sticks out for me would be Triple Triad, and then there's meme answers like my favorite minigame is math because I play Monster Hunter.
I like Blitzball in Final Fantasy X.
I haven't played it, but I've had a few friends that have really liked that minigame as well. But yeah, I think otherwise it would be like Sly 3 or something for me. But there's no one that sticks out. It's just like the ship battles were sick, the planes were sick, the cops and robbers mode was sick. Like
the one that sticks out for me in Sly 3 is where you have to do the pirate talk minigame.
What?
So you get into like this rap battle with a pirate, and you gotta he says some stuff, and you gotta pick from 3 responses that like are pirate talk, but you also gotta rhyme them to out rap him.
Oh, okay.
It's like a diss track that you're making on the fly. It's pretty fun. It's like, your mother was a dirty, thieving landlubber. You're like, yes, yes, she was.
Got him. Cool.
Yeah, but
Sly,
also
Sly 3.
Sly is a children's game, so it's all very safe.
PC. Yeah. No, it's fun. It's fun to play insert your own swears. Do you have a favorite slur? Let us know.
Please don't let us know.
Please don't. we are not accepting the gamer word right now.
Okay, that's it. I'm calling it.
Yeah, I'd say Sly 3, but there's no one minigame that sticks out. I just really like all the minigames in Sly 3. Steve, final answer?
There's one more I want to add, and that's in we mentioned it before, but JoJo Eyes of Heaven had a minigame where you got to play poker with Darby, and you got to try and out-cheat him.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, so that's also a good one to mention. Oh, and before I forget, the slot wheels in Pokemon, so I can get an early Dratini.
Oh God, as soon as I heard Pokey, I suddenly thought about that, like the Pokey machines in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that they stopped them after, I think Gen 5, wasn't it?
I think they stopped them after Gen 2.
No, Gen 5.
No, Gen 3 had Marvel Game Corner.
Yeah, and Gen 4 was in Heart Home or Bailstone, I think.
And then they're like, wait a second, we shouldn't be advertising gambling to kids.
No, it was like due to the
That's what loot boxes are for.
It was the European rating system changed, and because it had some elements of gambling, it couldn't be given E anymore.
Oh,
and I was
right.
like, no, yeah, so that's why they took it out of everything, which is a fucking shit thing, but it is what it is.
Anyway, so back on topic. Steve, final answer.
Gwent,
fair.
100%. I put so many fucking hours into Gwent.
Triple Triad.
Nice.
Pat?
Sly 3, but no.
That's a game, but
in particular.
Yeah, but Sly 3 is a game full of mini games.
It is. I don't know, the planes. The planes one was sick. Fucking love the planes.
Why did nobody say Mario Party then?
Because you got to pick a favorite mini game from Mario Party.
Name a Mario Party mini game.
Bumper balls.
That one that gave everybody those wrist problems.
So all of Mario Party
and
1
Sonic at the Olympic Games.
That's a minigame one as well.
Oh, the dream snowboarding event from the first Winter Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games was very good.
Shit.
Where you're racing down Radical Highway. I absolutely loved that.
That's just Mario Kart, though, isn't it?
Basically.
Well, if you really want to distill
snowboarding, which is better.
If you really want to think about it, isn't all game a minigame in the big scheme of this game called life?
No,
because if we're playing the game called life, aren't all video games just mini games?
I was about to go against what he was saying, and then he finished his sentence, and I was like, "Shit, I don't have a comeback."
Shit, he might be right. I think that hopefully answers the question, Anonymous. If you or someone that you know has a question you'd like us to answer, let us know. Get in touch with us at fasttravellounge@gmail.com, at Fast Travel Lounge on Twitter, minus one of the L's in the middle, or Fast Travel Lounge on Facebook. But to that end, this brings us to the end of episode 15. Is there any big things coming up next week that you want to preempt people for, other than the part 3 of the phone saga from you, Seth?
No. As far as I know, I'll mostly
Elden
be playing.
Ring.
Yeah, mostly be playing Elden Ring. If I finish it fast enough, I'll play Final Fantasy 1 before Stranger of Paradise comes out.
Elden Ring. Fair enough.
And I answered.
Steve, what about you?
Wouldn't you play Final Fantasy 1 after? Because it's Final Fantasy Stranger Paradises. Anyway, that's a discussion for next week, I guess. Yeah, probably. Hopefully, I'll get through Dark Souls. I'm probably gonna. I've got like 3 or 4 games left on my PS4 I want to play before the console goes to the big graveyard in the sky. That's the last.
So do
Bomb
EB
in the
Games
sky.
trade in.
Well, I don't know. It's like the PS4 Slim. I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not even sure if it fucking works. It hasn't been on in like a year. Not since I played Neo. So yeah, I've got to play The Last of Us 1, 2, and Shadow of the Colossus, and then I'm thinking it's gone. Will I get a PS5? Probably not. But yeah,
In
that's
this
right.
economy.
It needs a game that's worth buying first.
Well, so my
Well,
rule
but-
for buying a
but-
new console is it needs to have it. I need to be able to make up the console price in games, which is about 2.5 games in the current fucking game market.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let me put it to you another way. Would you rather have a PS5 or a full tank of gas?
full tank of
Man.
gas, I guess.
The gas prices right now, yeah, the full tank of gas.
Yeah, give me that petty. And my car does need to be filled up at the moment. I'm fucking putting that off.
Oh
I
no.
haven't had-
Condolences.
Look,
I haven't
when
had
it's
to drive
$2,
anyway.
when it's $2 a liter, you put it off as much as you can.
$2. Fucking Jesus, $2 a liter. I'd fucking crawl over broken glass to get $2 a liter.
I mean, we're
is it in
talking
New
about
Zealand?
we're talking about Australian price, so let's convert that real quick.
What is it in New Zealand?
It's like, actually shit. I might end up eating my words here. I'm pretty sure it's like at least $3 a liter here.
Okay, then yeah, it's way more because our $2 a liter would be your $2.14.
Yeah, I know. Australian dollar isn't doing that well.
Fucking hell, $3 a litre. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, no, it's over $3 a liter.
Well, where you got to drive
Fuck
to?
That's
off.
fucked.
New
I just
Zealand.
walk everywhere.
Yeah.
Catch the bus.
At what price?
Well,
Anyway,
there's a $50 cap for buses and public transport here a week, and then you get the rest of the travel for the week free.
well, we can't all live in partially worse countries, can we? So, anyway, got wildly off topic. Thank you for joining us through episode 15. We hope you've had fun. As you just heard, there's plenty of stuff to look forward to in episode 16. But until then, you've been listening to the Fast Travel Lounge. I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Seth and Steve. Hopefully Josh is back next week. And we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
God, I hope I finished Elden Ring by then.
Happy Mario Day, everyone.